If you've ever cooked your own books and then had your auditor quit on you, you might be SMCI. But since you're not that, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. We are going to get started with another day of live trading. Lots to do, lots of news, earnings, and 13 is off his rocker.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks. Hello and welcome back. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, whatever you call it. Hopefully you're having a good day. Let's not waste any time here and let's bring on 13. 13, how you doing today?
Apparently I'm off my rocker. Hey,
look, I just
you smell
something.
that? You smell that? It smells like books. You think any books are cooking?
Maybe. I mean, it's this is wild. We're gonna go ahead and cover it. Say good morning to a whole bunch of people here. Good morning, Crimp Biscuit. It's literally becoming one of my favorite handles. Good morning, Crimp Biscuit. Jonathan, Sideshow, Elon, thinking about it. Austin, Bax, X Sniper, AC2000C. Let's talk Beach Bum as always. Agent Semi, Joey, Robert, Mark, Alex, Zippity, Jay Harris, Bernhard, and everyone else. Suleiman, there you go. You got in there. I'm going to end with Suleiman because that's just an awesome name. Anyway, I hope you all are having a great morning. Let's go ahead and dive right into what's going on. So first of all, 13, I'm going to bring up the SPY here. We're going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to have you start with this while I go grab my tea. I was getting ready to get ready for the show here, and then all of the commotion happened with SMCI, and I was completely offside. So 13, give us some levels here from the SPY. I'll be back in 15 seconds.
We're still in consolidation with the SPY. Haven't really done much breaking out or breaking down, really. We're still holding above the 20-day SMA, which I currently have at 578 and 74 cents. We did open beneath the previous all-time high of 580.33, tested that 20-day SMA, and then recaptured that previous all-time high. Went up to our 582.30 level, and we're trading around that for the remainder of the day. We're above it for a good portion of it, and then we fell right through it at the end of the day, closed beneath it. So 582 still in play this morning. We have the same levels that we were just talking about, the 580.33 as the next level of support to the downside. That's the previous all-time high, and then to the upside we have that 582.30. If not there, 585.27. And of course, the 20-day SMA is still providing support. So those are the levels that I have for the SPY. Hopefully this SMCI news maybe gives us some kind of new action that we haven't seen in about a week or so. Get a breakdown here. That would be nice. Or a breakout. One of the other is fine. Let's get us out of the consolidation.
Yeah, really good stuff there. It looks like it is kind of dragging on the cues. I see reports here that CNBC still hasn't even covered this. Hell, our previous show has already covered this. Let's go ahead and break this down a little bit more then. Real quick, here is SMCI. So you can see here, man, 40, almost 49 bucks. This thing printed 30s, didn't it? Did it quite get? Not quite. Okay, 31s and change. Just an unreal move down here. So really quickly, if you haven't been with us, we got a news recently. SMCI, Supermicro computer shares are trading lower after the company announced its independent auditor, Ernst & Young, resigned over governance and transparency concerns. Remember, this all originated with a Hindenburg short report that said SMCI was cooking the books and all of that stuff. Now the independent auditor has resigned. I mean, this is bad news. We told you before, accounting practices, bad news. This even more bad here. Stock down massively, down 29% here. This is actually up off the lows. It was down over 30% earlier. So this is likely going to affect some other stocks. I would imagine Oracle is probably trading up on this. Okay, it was a little bit there. We'll see what else, what other types of relationships or relations we can get from this. I'd be curious to know, is anyone out there? You guys are really good active traders. you guys in some cases will trade risky stuff like gunslingers. Who is trading this for a bounce today? Question here: how is it not halted? Purgatory Park, there are no volatility halts in the extended sessions. I saw someone asking this in pre-market prep as well. Stocks don't get halted on volatility in the after hours or the pre-market. They get halted for news pending. They opted not to do that this time.
That's what I was going to get at. That would be the only reason for the halt here, is to be the news pending. And when this started dropping without news, you know that halt wasn't coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. That's what's going on with SMCI. Also, I was seeing earlier, Dennis had mentioned it on pre-market prep. Apparently, Lisa Su is going to be due on CNBC here today. Of course, AMD reported earnings last night. They're lower. Google reported earnings last night, and they are higher. So Google, and actually 13, you know what? We might as well just go right to this, because your call yesterday was phenomenal. When we were in the happy hour, we talked about this. As soon as this beat, it traded up. You didn't even give a level. Your immediate comment that you said is Google is trying to fill the gap. And lo and behold, with the pre-market action here today, look what it did. It traded right up to this level. Looks like it's filled the gap. We'll see if we go higher here on Google. Do you have anything else on Google here before I run down the list of smaller movers?
Google, it may have been a week or so ago when I was talking about Google having a pretty bullish looking pattern, holding up on the 200-day SMA, putting in a bit of a inverse head and shoulders. And I was looking for, if Google can hold above 170 for a number of days, this thing could end up going to 200. Earnings seems to be, making that a reality now. So we're just looking for it to hold above 170 for a number of days. I'm sure we're going to get that. Unless the whole market comes in and everything goes down, including Google. But as long as we hold above 170 for several days, I think we're going to see 200 in the future. Probably not this year, but maybe next year.
Okay. Good stuff there. We'll see how Google trades here today. Sorry, still getting I tell you what, that SMCI news drop. What a news bomb.
Yeah.
Early on there. That just kind of threw me off here, but that's okay. We're going to be ready to go. Let's roll through some of the movers here today. We'll come back to Snapchat. They also reported earnings. Looks like they popped and are in the process of giving that up. LOL on Snapchat. Okay. First one here on the movers list is going to be ticker THAR. This is Tharimmune. You can see we actually had a nice little impulse move that took us up to 630, and it looks like we have another move here that's trading above 6, looking like it's trying to make some sort of double top on THAR. We do have a catalyst here this morning as well. They released a press release early this morning. Tharimmune receives EMA feedback on one of its clinical programs, including guidance on planned phase 2 trial. The agency found the design and main features of the proposed phase 2 study overall acceptable, with some comments, and also provided general guidance for the design of a future phase 3 study. So getting some more biotech news here, ticker THAR. That's going to be Tango Hotel Alpha Romeo. 13. I'm not familiar with this stock. 1.13 mil float. We're going to do the things that we check all the time. Short interest, kind of negligible, but existing. And what do you know? Some recent insider buying right ahead of this PR that they released. What do you think here? Ticker THAR.
Yeah, well, so this is like when you're talking about Thor, but he's far away. This company has cash, about 2 3/4 left of it. They did a 1-for-15 reverse split on May 28th. The thing that was interesting that I was looking at was they presented their data on that particular drug you're talking about yesterday, and the positive feedback they got this morning is the reason why it's moving. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot. Like you said, there's not a lot of short interest here, but this is going to be guidance. They also mentioned guidance for their phase 2 trial. So they just had their phase 1 data and they presented it at that ACG annual meeting. So phase 2 is next. They have enough cash, I think, for that. I only know that because of how much they have in on their balance sheet versus how much they're burning based on their last earnings statement. And there's 12 days unconfirmed left before their next ER, so we'll get an update on that as well. But other than that, it seems like they're just gearing up for phase 2, and they already are talking plans for phase 3. So they also were talking about possibly trying to merge with another company. let's see. I'd have to go back down and look and see where I saw that, but they're also looking to merge as well. So we might see more future headlines from THAR. But for now, we're just going to be trading this movement here that we're seeing here. And I think the pre-market action that we're getting, that 629 does need to get taken out pretty soon, or I think you might be right. We could be facing a double top here. But to me, this looks like a pretty bullish setup. We just need to see it resolve.
Yeah, really good stuff there. This does actually look like it's going to try and take 620 seems to be a spot now. Then that 629 that we covered earlier, really good stuff. Okay, next here on the list is going to be ASPI, and I'm going to start with a comment from our good show friend, Jeff Bezos here. Jeff, by the way, really enjoyed your op-ed. It's good that somebody in the media finally took their head out of their ass and is going to start paying attention to what's going on. So really enjoyed that. Go read Jeff Bezos's op-ed in the Washington Post if you haven't yet. But back down to brass tacks here. ASPI is the one here today. Big news, 25% short. Let's dive right into that. Lisa Sue is live here on CNBC if you were waiting for that on your AMD trade. ASP isotope shares are trading higher after the company announces entered into a term sheet with TerraPower for the construction of HALEU production facility. Okay, so that sounds really good. Stock was just under $6. We actually traded up to $9.50 here today. Real quickly, for those of you not familiar with this company, like myself, not one that I've traded here before, ASP Isotopes Inc. is a pre-commercial stage advanced materials company dedicated to the development of technology and processes that, if successful, will allow the production of isotopes may be used in several industries. So getting a nice PR there about one of its production facilities. The stock is up 53% here in the pre-market. As Jeff mentioned here, it does have significant short interest. In fact, that short interest has been building and is now 20.32%. Quick look at the days to cover, over 12.05 days to cover. Definitely has some squeeze potential here. If we take a look at the insiders, you can see there was a little bit of buying in the summer in July. So that's been going on there. Factor that in however you will. 13, what do you think about this one here? ASPI. I got to be very careful today because this actually reminds me of Airship, which is AISP. That is a different stock, completely unrelated. ASPI, how many times am I going to screw that up? Please help us today. What do you got here?
So this is a play on it's a nuclear play. Nuclear has been hot for a while, so that's all running right now. It looks like we already had Jay Rice mentioning LEU this morning. That's up. I think it was like it was up higher than it was now, but real quickly, just with LEU. First of all, it's important to know that Jay Rice is long that from a 30 handle, so he's really been killing this. LEU, I believe, got an upgrade to here in a price target adjustment this morning. I don't see it here. It might have been a Wainwright one. Someone's got to check me on that, but I'm pretty sure they got an upgrade. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, so that's kind of why it's also helping get such a lift because the nuclear theme is pretty hot right now. So this is just kind of playing into that. They do have that 20.32% short interest. At least that's the read I got here on Pro with 12 days to cover. Company has about 1 to 2 quarters of cash. So it doesn't look like they're going to be needing to do any kind of offering or raise money at anytime soon. The float is a little bit larger, 48.84 million shares in the float. So should still be able to move this around, but it's going to be a little bit heavier than some of these other, 1 to 2 million float stocks that we, or even less than that, that we usually trade. So just keep that in mind when we're trading this. We might see the effect of that larger volume as we trade this throughout the day.
Okay. Real good stuff there. ASPI. I'd love for this to really kind of hold the VWAP here, give us a trade. This actually has pretty good range to the upside too. So if we're able to hold this 845 level, I think a trade up to 950 is easily possible. So I'd like to see that happen. We'll see what happens here with ASPI. Okay, next is going to be Reddit, and I'll tell you something. We will get to Dell, folks. I see a number of you mentioning Dell. Believe me, I will get there. We'll get to all of those. Reddit here. This one, first of all, apologies to the group here because when Reddit first came around, I was calling for the teens on this, and mea culpa time. I was wrong on that. We actually printed above 100 yesterday, and we have maintained above 100 here today. Reddit shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 financial results and issued Q4 revenue guidance above estimates. So just an absolute monster move here. You are a fan of saying that this is the ultimate meme stunk. So
Yep.
I'm just going to go right to you for Reddit here. First of all, are you as surprised as me at the earnings pop and the degree of the pop? And then perhaps more importantly, 13, are we looking for any trade here on Reddit today?
When we first started talking about this, I think I was taking the other side that Reddit might actually do better than what everybody else is thinking. I was citing some of their financial figures before they became an IPO. I think that it's it's pretty extended. I don't think the valuation makes sense up here, but that's kind of par for the course these days with a lot of these names that run. It did have a breakout, so there is a technical side to this as well. This was trying to get into the 100 handle. It seems like there were two other occasions where we had some really large spikes, and if you measure the top of those spikes and just see the trend that's created by those, you'll see that this breakout was a breakout of that trend, and we're over 100 now. So I think this is very extended. I don't think the valuation makes sense. I would expect it to come back in, but this is just a really hot name. I think there's a lot of eyes on Reddit. So being that was the platform that sent all those meme stonks back in 2021 into the stratosphere, like GME, AMC, BlackBerry, Cost, all those different names that really didn't have any business being in as high as they were. This is the platform that got it all done. So I think there's still going to be a lot of eyes on this name. I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing it push up as much as it has.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to love comments like this. Mark saying Reddit is going to play a role in search down the road. Take it from a digital marketer. Reddit isn't going anywhere. I'll be honest with you, Mark. Given the performance that we've seen here, that sure seems accurate. Like I said, I am. What do we always say in here? It's okay to be wrong, not okay to stay wrong. Mm-hmm. To me, 13. You were just talking about this. Pretty much setting up for a pullback here. Honestly, the trade to me here would be to try and short-term short on this name, but I honestly jumping in front of momentum to the upside here, not my favorite thing. 26% here in the pre-market on Reddit. Thinking about it also goes on to say that the conference call for this was great. I didn't listen to it. I'll take your word for that. Thinking about it.
And Fairchild is right about active daily users. Like I said, there are a ton of eyes on this website, and it's merely a message board, but they have a lot of traffic going here. They have a lot of eyes on it. That really excites advertisers, and that's one of the reasons why they are doing so well. They just have such a huge crowd of people going to their website. Okay.
Really good stuff there. Let's keep moving. That was Reddit. Next here is going to be Bivi, former ex-girlfriend, ticker BIVI. This is company BioV. This did spike above $3 here today. One of the things we got was news in the after hours yesterday regarding a $3.24 million direct offering here. Stock's up 9% on the back of that offering. What do you make of this, 13?
I didn't cover this one, but I think we did trade this previously earlier this month, and this was one of the ones we were pointing out needed to raise capital. So here they are doing that. I don't remember what this company was about, and I didn't cover this one, so I don't have any.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. This is a former one here. It's trading higher after the offering. That's some pretty decent strength here. As far as a trade goes, I'd love for this to really try to show volume expansion to kind of recapture that VWAP. You might, in fact, here. Let me see if I can. Let me try and do this to help us out here. We need the VWAP plus the EMAs that 13 uses. That's what we need here. Let's go back to BIVI now. Let's go to the news and then back to the raises in the offering. Perfect. Here you go. And we'll go ahead and turn on some of these EMAs that you often watch here today, 13. So right now we're sitting right at that 65 EMA. See if we can hold that level and maybe capture the VWAP on some expanding volume for a trade.
Oh, you're on the 1 minute. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can go to whatever one you want. I just I went ahead and threw those back on here. Okay. Yep. Okay. I'm going to keep moving here. That was Tesla's doppelganger. I almost did it there. Tesla's doppelganger, TLSA, of course, Tizinia. I don't even know. Tizinia Life Sciences here. This is actually trading up. It's gapping up 9%. Really interesting. I don't really think there's a trade here, but they did announce something here this morning. Right. Positive results from Ozempic and nasal anti-CD3 combination study is reducing inflammation and improving liver health. Some of those obesity meds. Stock's $1 here. Maybe we get a trade on this. For what I'm looking for, it's got to really take out 115. Did you have anything on Tesla's doppelganger, TLSA?
No, just taking a look at it at first glance, it just reads like this is some kind of Ozempic drug combined with another, I don't know, like another type of drug that's going to help you be healthy. So it's like a 2-in-1 combination. At least that's the way it reads to me. I don't know anything about this company though.
Okay. Real good stuff there. Oh, one more thing here. Mark mentioning regarding Reddit, it's a massive repository of info, also misinfo though. Just keep that under your hat. It's still dwarfed by Twitter's users as well. So just as an aside, Sox S also on the list, given everything that's going on with some of the tech names, that should be fairly obvious. But now let's get to Dell. There were a number of you folks looking for Dell earlier here today. Dell shares are trading higher. The stock may have moved after Supermicro Computer announced its independent auditor, Ernst & Young, resigned over governance and transparency concerns. Earlier, I flipped over to Oracle to see what was going on here. Dell's clearly the one that is benefiting from that. Dell moved from this, 122 handle where it traded around yesterday, 130 and climbing here today. Stock up 7.5% on Dell. If we take a look at the daily chart here, you could see where we're actually going and how important this spot is. We tried to make it over this spot before, got roasted the last time we tried to break out, sold off. Now we're right back there. Let's see if we can get above this. I think if we do, we have a little bit of a gap fill up here to about 134.5, but I do see this maybe going to 140, 142, which is the previous consolidation area. 13, did you have anything on Dell here? I can't remember if this is one that you covered this morning either.
It's not, but it's not hard to see why we're moving up. This one,
Sure.
HPE, they're going to essentially eat SMCI's lunch. So all the business that SMCI was getting and so forth, now that it's being viewed that Dell and companies like HPE are going to take that share of their market and just profit from that. So that's the reason why you're seeing this move up. This SMCI.
Okay, there you go. That pretty much does it for the movers here. I guess it's worth mentioning this Snap reported earnings. They traded up a little bit. Anne-Marie told us yesterday this is not the greatest one, kind of a low price stock. We're actually retracing about 50% of that earnings move. That's what's going on here. Hewlett Packard, ticker HPE. I believe this was no, I'm not sure what's going on with this one. This was a PR from yesterday morning. I don't think this is what it's moving on. Let me know.
No, it's moving on the
SMCI stuff. Okay, so it's just sympathy here for SMCI on Hewlett Packard as well. That's what's going on. Okay, one more thing here. Yeah, go ahead.
I have two other movies we can cover if you want.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. Which ones are they?
NRDS, Nerds.
Yes. Okay, that's Nerdwallet, right? NRDS, Nerdwallet. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one had earnings yesterday. They got new analyst ratings and price targets. So it's moving up on that. But they also have a 10.5% short interest with 9.25 days to cover. Company has 39 million shares in the float, so it is on the larger side, but not so large that it's not at least appetizing to try and trade it. Company has lots of cash. I don't think they're in any risk of having to make an offering or anything like that. This is actually more of a real company than some of these other ones, but they just aren't quite profitable yet, but still have a good amount of revenue.
Okay, that's it. Nerdwallet, ticker NRDS. Nice little bull flag here. We'll see if we break out of this. What was the other mover that you had?
ATRC.
ATRC. Why don't I have that on here? ATRC. Let me bring that up. This is volume. No, session. Yeah, session volume. This is traded 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares here this morning.
Yeah. So, I mean, this one probably might not want to, move this or not. We'll have to wait and see what it does at the open. But I just saw it moving up on my scanner. It was
Gotcha.
off of earnings and analyst ratings. It's kind of similar to Nerds. It's got 47 million shares in the float, almost 7% shortages with 8 days to cover, lots of cash in the bank, just on the verge of trying to be profitable like Nerds Wallet is. So a couple of other companies that with a little bit of larger float, good cash positions, but they are a little squeezy. So could see some movement in those today. Maybe just keep them on your radar. But if I'm not sure about ATRC, and RDS seems like it would be a better one to go with.
Yeah. Also here with ATRC, Needham maintaining its buy rating, price target from 34 to 40. So there you go. Also, Jerry here. Good morning, Jerry. We don't really cover penny stocks here a lot, so you're probably not going to get those in the rundown very often. You were mentioning STI. Honorable mention to this, as this is probably one of your bigger penny movers here today. This went from about 40 cents to 80 cents, so doubled very early in the pre-market, retraced 50% of that move, and is now curling back up towards the highs. So that's what's going on here. STI, I will pass on the penny.
Yeah, and it's is on battery news. This company is claiming that they have developed a cost-effective strategy for enabling completion of charging in 5 minutes for a wide range of lithium batteries. Now, I don't know if that means they've figured out a way to make all existing lithium batteries charge in 5 minutes, or if they're going to make a battery that's charging in 5 minutes. Either way, that's a very fast charge time. And I think that's very exciting to people in the lithium and battery space. So we're seeing some movement out of that. But when I look at the cash position, not the greatest thing that you want to see. Looks like they either lose money or make money as far as the earnings reports that I have from them. But the balance sheet shows that they don't have much cash at all. Balance sheet looks absolutely awful, by the way. Okay.
Tell us how you really feel, 13.
No.
No, as a matter of fact, I won't do that. I will not do that. Okay. Thar here. Yeah, Thar here, kind of wild. ASPI looks like this is popping here on ASPI. Let's see if that continues to move higher.
It's trying to push into the highs. Pre-market high is 956. Let's see what it's going to give us. Thar popping. It's also pulling as well. 629 is the pre-market high in Thar. NRDS getting support from the 65 EMA on the 5 minute.
Okay, ASPI pulling back off of its initial move here. We'll see if there's any. Why is my thing frozen? No, maybe it's not. No, what?
It's
because the signals thing is catching up. That's why. Okay, ASPI pulled back off that entire move. Hopefully, that didn't get anybody on that. Coming back into VWAP, we'll see where it settles there. That was an early call, man. That was an early call. No offense, bro, but that was an early call. Snap popping off the open here, right to its VWAP. SMCI this actually, I'll tell you what, considering the move on SMCI, this is a fairly tame open, wouldn't you say?
It seems like it tried to rebound there, but this thing is this thing doesn't look great. I'm not gonna there's some trades in there, like you could probably go on both sides, short and go long, but that's going to be left up to the individual on how you want to trade that. The levels I have, I mean, I don't. It looks like 750 might be a good support level. I don't know that. Wait a minute, this is the wrong chart. Looks like 23 might be a good support level, and we're not there yet. So
Thar pulling here, THAR pulling off of the open.
These are all
light bridge, by the way. This Jay Rice, I think yesterday, talking about a 3-day rule here on this. Light bridge popping a little bit here today, but I'll be honest with you, at this point, at least some of those gains should be booked, if not all. Yeah, JJ with the Zadarshi blows.
That's a good one.
Not bad.
LTBR, this should be coming back in.
Look at Reddit continuing to move off the open here. Oh my God, Reddit.
We're in the territory back from November of 2021 with Lightbridge. Yeah, Thar pulling, Bivi pulling, Nerdwallet really pulling. That went down.
Okay,
to
so this is a weighted out day here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a weighted out day here.
Oklo popping. That's another one of those.
Yeah, that thing has been running like crazy.
It's the nuclear plays should be all doing pretty good on that news from ASPI.
ASPI having a really, really rough open here, though.
Yeah, kind of looks a little bearish.
Pull.
Short
Nice
term.
little pop that probably sucked in bulls there, and then a flush down, cracked the VWAP, struggling to get back over it. This thing needs some help.
Yeah, it looks like help might come as early as 740 or as late as 620.
Needs a really big volume pop into a halt, in my opinion, to really kind of get rolling here. We'll see where it goes. Thar also trying to recapture the VWAP, so we'll see if these two big movers are able to do that here today. Reddit did stop at its highs, pulling back towards the VWAP. We'll see if that holds on Reddit.
I saw a question earlier about, hey, if the earnings were good yesterday, why is the SPY moving down? I don't think earnings were particularly great. Some were good, some were not. It was
the Google earnings that were really good.
The Google earnings were good. The AMD earnings were not.
Yeah.
You kind of have a little bit of half and half there. So here we are, kind of still sideways. Here we are still getting support from 580.33. So it may not. And then we also got GDP numbers this morning. I thought those were coming on Thursday. We got some of that information. So below expectations there. That's the last read we're going to get on the GDP before the election. So getting worse than expected numbers could take its toll going into the ballot box. ASIP now losing 8, going down to the 65 EMA, which
this
I have.
This is ASPI that you had.
This is ASPI.
Yeah, this thing not good. Not a good open here. I really hope nobody got hurt.
Well, hey, there you know what you were asking me about FMC?
What did I ask you? I was just mentioning that they're higher on earnings.
Is it going to go to 66? The answer is yes.
Yeah, it looks like it did. Here, THAR. Maybe it's recapturing the VWAP here on THAR.
I have it as beneath. Yeah, you're right. It could be trying to recapture VWAP here. Here we go. So this is trying to do that. Let's see if we can get past 620. That seems to be a pretty interesting resistance area.
Yeah. Also, I mean, 550 here might send it back for a 6 recapture. We'll see. THAR, ticker THAR. Let's see if it can really push it up, slowing down. Maybe that pop is going to get sold too. Tell you what, some of these have been brutal.
Sorry if I haven't been looking at what everybody's.
Yeah, we've had a lot here. We've had a lot here.
It's been a bit of a wild open.
1 sec.
CVRX moving up. I'll take a quick look at that. CVRX. What is this? Oh, that's nice. Okay, so I'm looking at a daily chart. We just ran up and touched the 200-day SMA. Let me see what the news is here. Earnings. Okay, so they had a EPS miss of 10 cents, but their guidance.
Which stock are you on here?
CVRX. I'm kind of just like reading as I go here to figure out why we're seeing this pop.
CVRS.
CVRX.
Okay, sorry.
No worries.
Hard to hear.
Yeah, I mumble sometimes. So they missed on EPS. Their sales was a beat. Their guidance was narrowed, but there must have been something said in that conference call because it's up almost 27%. I'm not sure what we're seeing here on why we're getting such movement. With
I don't understand the earnings print here either. You're right. Maybe it's something conference call related.
Bar about to get new highs here. This is probably going to halt, actually.
Bar's going to halt here, huh?
I think so. I think.
Wow! Pop to the upside, 628. We are halted.
There we go.
We are halted.
ASPI looks like this is trying to turn around as well. So we'll see if we'll get that. What else, folks? What else? Hey, well done, Anthony. I like it.
Well done. Hopefully it pops and opens higher here. THAR. That was a big pop there.
Line Atlas booking big gain on his good calls. Good job.
Nice job playing that. I kind of wanted to play that, but I didn't feel great about it. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Don't start the day off. But nice job there, Lion. Nice job. 165%. That's gonna give you a register ring and a 1-up. You know what? Did we just find the treasure? Let's go. Let's go. ASPI here did hold 8 so far. Remember, though, this was looking like it was going to try to launch from 9. So still some more work to be done here, ASPI. Here we go. Let's talk it up. Let's see if we can get these volume sticks to really kind of expand. The selling volume here has dominated the buying volume. We want that to change.
A lot of these movers we were looking at now starting to come back. ASPI recovering. BIVI hit the 265 EMAs on the 5-minute. That's coming back to VWAP. Nerdwallet, that's trying to recapture VWAP. Actually above mine right now.
ASPI just retook VWAP as you were talking about other VWAPs.
There we go. So and then ATRC. Well, this one not completely above VWAP yet, but trying. We will also mention that ATRC might be too low a volume mover to really excite us here. But here we are with ASPI. This is turning around here. I think it was the gentleman named C. There he is.
Yep.
He said just hold it. Just see you at 15 tomorrow.
I hope that works out for you. Folks, have your own trading plan. Have your own trading plan. Nice curl here, though. And I would imagine if you were trading this off that 8, probably trim into this, book some gains.
Yeah, the nuclear theme's still hot. This is showing you why. So Google now actually, so we opened and we're trading lower. This is okay. We just want to hold 170, but it looks like we're filling this gap to the downside, the one that I identified yesterday. So let's see what happens when we get down to 176.19. So let's call it 176.20. Let's see what happens right around there because we're almost there. So let's see if we get some support at that level in GOOGL.
Here you go. Lightbridge actually testing 14 as we speak. 14.
That's a good one, Jay Rice.
Flight to quality, GME. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
AMD, by the way. Woo.
Was this going lower? Yeah. So,
yeah. The next leg lower here out of the open. Let me check in on SMCI as well. I know we're waiting for Thar. What time did that halt, by the way?
Making tech stocks look a little shaky, huh?
SMCI is still struggling with its VWAP. Thar halted at 938. So we're looking at either 943 or 948 as the resumption time. So that's coming here in a little bit. That penny stock earlier rejected at its VWAP. We'll see if it can recapture it. That's STI. Sorry, the penny stock.
That was a good joke there, Jay Rice, nibbling on Chewy. I like it.
Yeah, so I don't even know that he meant that, but it'll work out here. Real quickly, Chewy, we got a Form 13C yesterday, I believe, right? One of those. Am I getting my forms mixed up here? 13G. I am getting my form mixed up. Sorry about that, folks. Keith Gill, a.k.a. Roaring Kitty, dissolving his stake to 0 in Chewy.
Yep.
So that's what's going on here with this one.
Lion, we're both. I do remember you saying that we were both on GOG, both on Google for a very similar reason. I think I said Meta was the one that was not going to be getting that ad revenue from the election because they decided they weren't going to take that route. That was from Zuckerberg's mouth. So,
and they report tonight, by the way, they're down out of the open here. So interesting. I'm
right there with you, Lion Atlas, and I still own Google. I'm holding that for the long term. And I was saying that I think this was also a very good opportunity with that antitrust news and the DOJ looking to kind of break them up. That gave us a really big opportunity. So here we are taking it.
Okay.
Great job.
Okay.
All right. So what's going on here?
By the way, since I just mentioned it before I forget here, is anyone going to trade Meta for earnings?
I think Meta's way too extended.
Okay, Thar is open here,
and
it's trying
to push into the new highs. 629. We're looking to a break there.
It's got to break 6, right? Think that's what we got here on Thar. It's got to really break 6 for this to really kind of get crazy. And we can go back to that ASPI and see if that's getting wild yet.
No, it's pulling.
Thar's pulling here. Okay. Carmen, great job, by the way. Let me make sure I get the right sound. Great job, by the way. I think you said you got out of that right before the halt. Well done, Carm.
Nice. So, yeah, the Thar, that one is kind of, going sideways. Looks like it's getting support from VWAP now. This could be the move that takes it over 630. ASPI, that one's also trying to, find I'm just waiting to see if this is going to go lower and get some support from one of these EMAs.
Let me bring it up here real quick. I wasn't following you fast enough. Here is ASPI.
Bivi is also going lower. Nerdwallet is consolidating as well, and ATRC finally looks like it's trying to get some life going here, but I think this one needs to break 35 before we can take out the pre-market high. Still very low volume in this one.
That was way too fast for me. Here's your Nerdwallet NRDS. What was the other ticker? What was
ATRC? Yeah, one of the other movers.
ATRC, right? That was the low volume one here from the pre-market. What does our volume look like here in this? Okay, so now we're up to about 500,000 shares there, so that's not bad. Okay.
Thinking about it, I think you're right. New CEO isn't going to do a whole lot for SBucks. I think we covered that quite a bit in happy hour about how he came into Kava. Was it Kava or Chipotle? I think it was Chipotle, right?
What are
the Starbucks new CEO came from? Was it Chipotle?
Came from Chipotle. CMG. It was Brian Nichols.
So he came into that company at a time when the Chipotle was already turning around. We discovered. So I think it's just a big hype machine with him moving.
Reddit bounce off the VWAP here. That actually might be going higher for those of you that are trading Reddit. Thar actually coming into the VWAP. Look out! I'll tell you what, that little pop, that was kind of a fake out, right? That pop into the halt. That halt opened with just massive selling volume. A lot of people taking the stock off the table there. Probably taking profit. We'll see. This thing, I hope I'm wrong. For those of you that are trading this, no position for me. I hope I'm wrong. But I tell you what, Thar, this is looking a little heavy. I'd watch that VWAP. If this snaps, I think this goes much lower.
I have around 350 as a potential support area. If we do lose that, still encouraging as long as it holds these levels, like let's say somewhere between 450 and 475. As long as we hold that area, I think we could still go a little bit higher and try to take out that 629 pre-market high.
So far, it is holding 5. Sorry, got distracted there. So far, it is holding 5. We'll see where it goes here. All selling volume here on Thar. Webcoin here mentioning the catalyst is nothing special here on Thar. By the way, you're just seeing this on a different chart that I have. SMCI challenging its VWAP here. See if it can get over it. No position on SMCI. I'll tell you what, I don't have the stones to trade this one.
Nice job thinking about it.
Man, I feel like I got my head on a swivel this morning. I'm like all over the place. No trades though yet. No trades though yet. Grab it a drink.
No problem. Looks like the Qs were getting into selling mode after hitting 500. Might be slowing down here on that selling. Let's see what we get out of that. Looks like as far as the Qs go, could see some more support around 494. Thar looks like we're still testing that $5 level. If we lose that, then I think Ryan's prediction comes true.
Which stock are we on? So I just got back. Thar, THAR. Yeah, that looked rough.
Yeah, so if they don't get support here, then I think we're going to be looking at that 350 level support, or the earliest support. MACD also showing this is rolling over and could go lower.
You're thinking about it with that Reddit sale. Awesome.
Same thing with ASPI. This one actually has had a lot more selling happening on MACD. So this one might actually get some support somewhere around 750, somewhere around between here and 750, I would say. That's what I'd be watching for in ASPI. But hey, this is going to 15, right?
Don't ask me that. That's not.
I'm just teasing.
I know, you're just having fun. You're just having fun.
FMCI. Now, here's the thing about this one, because I've been on this one for a while. Every time it gets up into the 66 handle, it always finds resistance. It's kind of been
you
that
said
way all year.
FMCI, and I was
sorry,
confused.
FMC. God,
but
I'm
you
sorry.
meant FMC.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
FMC. Yeah, every time this thing gets over the 66 handle, it just finds resistance, and that's been the case all year. So, does this end up holding this time? I would need to see a breakout into 70 to know for sure, because we've been up here 4 times already. This is actually the 5th visit up into the 66 area. And I don't know that this earnings is going to necessarily change anything, but this has been going sideways for quite some time. And I still think that this is going to be a $100 stock in the future. So don't know if we're going to end up getting that final breakout or hold and breakout above 66, but it's looking okay so far. We just have to wait and see what happens.
Okay. Good stuff there. ASPI is attempting to take its VWAP. Came up towards it, couldn't quite do it. Oh. Well, that was an interesting open.
Yeah.
That was an interesting open. Let's see if ASPI can get back above its VWAP here. I've got its VWAP at 844.
Ocean Sky was wondering what's going on with LAC. So this one we were talking about yesterday because it was having a really good day. It's had a pretty good week, and it's had a really good day yesterday. I think yesterday was the highest volume day it had in the company's history. But we had pointed out that it was very extended. The RSI was indicating, well, it was almost at 80. It was indicating that this thing was really overcooked and needed to come back in. So I think what we're seeing here is just a technical cooling off of that incredible rally it's had. It is still over the 200-day SMA, so that is encouraging. And we could end up with a golden cross here. I don't know how soon that could be. It might be in December, maybe mid-November. But it looks like this is going to need to cool off for a little bit. Maybe even test the 200-day SMA, but I don't think this is done. It looks like it's going to still go higher in the future, but we just need to wait for it to cool off.
Well done, but that person doesn't have sound.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be a spicy jerk here today, but that was I was like, I'm gonna let this one go and see how long this can go. We'll see.
Well, hopefully somebody else got some value out of that.
well said. Well said there, 13. We out here today. Thar, still not breaking down, so I was wrong at least on that one here. We'll see if this actually kind of turns around and recaptures its VWAP. ENSC.
Well, you might not be. You might be wrong at the moment, but I think you're about to be right. And there you are. Now you're right.
Bang bang into the 4 handle. Dr. Manred. Then it was all worth it. You folks are awesome. This is literally the best part of the day. Thanks to you guys. I don't even know if I can say it enough, honestly. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's a great idea, man. Thank you. Turn on them captions. And then back up so you can see what I said.
Does that work?
I imagine it would. Okay.
I don't even know. I don't even know if that works. By the way, SMCI, last time I mentioned it, we were talking about that being at the VWAP. SMCI here did move through its VWAP.
The most boring one of the day that we were talking about, the mover ATRC, this one is actually breaking out. This one is actually making some moves. This is up $2 from the area where it opened and went down to. Actually, more than that, but this is looking good. No subtitles available for this video. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, but ATRC, this one breaking out on not the greatest volume. VI lower. ASPI, this is still trying to reclaim VWAP.
Worth noting here, 13, that the ATRC, I mean, that volume in the pre-market was like 2K. Like, this is almost 1 million shares now. And we're what? Not even a half hour into the market. So the volume here is fine now. It was just suspect in the market.
So, well, it looks like Thar we captured 5. Maybe you just need to shake those weak hands out under 5, and now it's going to turn around and go. But that's just speculation.
That's on Thar. I can bring that up here real quick.
I saw folks mentioning Riley earlier as well.
Yeah, B Riley, ticker RILY.
Yeah, this one also kind of dropped out of the gate, and then now it got some consolidation, recaptured VWAP, and now it's trying to push into the highs from well, not the highs, but the consolidation from yesterday that was in the after hours, or I'm sorry, the after hours. After hours are into the close anyway. Thar still turning around. Those wicks on the bottom seem encouraging, like they're the buyers are stepping in. We'll see if we can recapture VWAP. Chewy, I kind of agree that Chewy might be a good. I think we were also talking about how that might be a good buy. Down at 25? I think I mentioned yesterday in the in happy hour chat, because it looks like and I think somebody else may have said even lower during that same meeting, like 22 to 20. But I think 25 might be a good spot.
Sorry, handling some things here on my end.
My view on Hood, I'm actually kind of surprised that Hood has been able to make such big market changes. We got news over the weekend, this past weekend, that the NYSE is looking to have longer non-regular session hours, so longer extended hours, so to where it's only going to be, the market's going to be only closed technically for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. So the proposal that they had was they open pre-market at 1:30 a.m. and they close after hours trading at 11:30 p.m. So that's in response to Hood bringing more. I'm trying to think of the exact terminology they used, but Hood was tied to the reason they cited for extending their hours.
Yeah, I actually asked Dennis about this, said this was a no-brainer. They had to do that. Really quickly, bonjour, Smoke Tuna from the X side here today. Good morning, stay focused. It's great to see you. Did you hear what Charlie said about voters? I did not. I actually don't have Squawk playing here during the show, so I missed that. I'd love to hear what he did say about this. Okay, and then, by the way, a couple of things here just to check in. Real quick, SMCI, after that whole debacle, that is still trading higher here today. And then what was the other one? APSI. Am I going to get? No, that's not the right
ASPI.
ASPI. I knew I was going to screw it up at some point here. Pulling hard again. So again, just be careful with this. Now, I know you all are excited because it's Wednesday. It's hump day. You know what that means. That's right. It's Tim Melvin time, baby. Let's go. Tim, happy Wednesday. How are you doing, boss?
Well, about the same as when we got together and talked last night for an hour or so, kicking around what's moving and what's losing in the markets. Said storms are all past. There's nothing off on the horizon, so we're looking pretty good.
I'll say this. I'll say this about last night. Tim and I had so much fun last night that as soon as I finished, you know what I did, Tim? I opened a beer.
A beer. Oh my goodness.
I had so much fun. I popped a beer. I poured it into a frosty mug, and I watched some hockey and some baseball last night.
Well,
that's the way to do it.
I did watch a little baseball last night. Was very disappointed in that game, of course, being a Baltimore fan. But I'm hoping.
Yeah, I forgot to mention to you, I am a Cubs fan, so I have a strong dislike for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I'm sorry, we're on opposite sides of this trade, man.
See, the only people that I hate worse than the New York Yankees are the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
So
well, there you go.
But anyway, we touched on something last night, Ryan, and I'm going to follow up on that today because there was some great follow-up material this morning. I thought, we need to talk more about this.
Let's do it.
Last night we talked a lot about nuclear energy and artificial intelligence and the demand it's coming. Now, this is something that I've been on for a while. Okay. And this is probably, and I don't say things like this, okay? So take note that I'm saying this. This is probably the most important investment story of the next 30 years. Okay. The demand for energy to meet artificial intelligence is going to be enormous. But that's really only part of it, right? You've also got electrification of everything. You've got all the industries being moved back to the United States. And quantum computing, guys, is probably going to use just as much energy as artificial intelligence. So they're in the desert this week. Most people don't track it, but it's Davos in the desert. It's put on by the Saudi Arabian government, and they're all in there having a big conference called the Future Investment Initiative. No secret, Saudi's trying to get away from just being an oil-based economy. They can look and say, hey, you know what, in 30, 40 years, this isn't going to be what we want to base the future on. And they're capable, unlike in our country, of making decisions beyond a 3-month period of time. So they're kind of planning it out. But, you know, lots of politicians there, lots of fund managers, lots of CEOs. The CEO of Google is there, the CEO of TikTok, and then on the investment side, Larry Fink is there, Steven Schwartzman's there from Blackstone, and Elon Musk made an appearance by video. I only can pronounce the guy's last name. Sun from SoftBank is there. So there's some serious hitters here, and they're sitting around talking about artificial intelligence, right? And I think I don't have to go into all the details of all the just phenomenal opportunities that artificial intelligence brings to the world, to the United States in particular. I mean, what it can do for our economy, for our energy grid, for just every aspect of life. It's more transformative than the internet. Okay, there's a problem. There's because somebody dropped the thing in the punch bowl during the first day of the conference and said, there's only one problem with this. We can't get there with the current energy infrastructure. Okay. Now, this gets talked about a lot, and it's been the driver. You've got New Scale Up on there. It has been the driving force behind this conversation, right? And nuclear stocks are running up because, you know, Microsoft's going to use them, Amazon's going to use them, and they're going to be a player. Do not mistake what I'm going to say today, for I don't think nuclear is going to be a player. I have been long physical uranium for 3 years now. Okay, and there was 2 factors. One, we knew energy demand was going to go up. I don't think I was estimating this much demand from AI at the time. I didn't understand that, but we knew that energy demand was going to go up. We also knew that for the first time ever, about 3-4 years ago, a new class of buyer came into the physical uranium market, and was hedge funds. And there's even an ETF, which is how I own uranium, SRUUF, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. They're buying and storing uranium, and they have no intention of selling the stuff. So there's a percentage of capacity that's now just offline.
Tim, real quickly here, what do you say to this comment? He's kind of late on the nuclear theme. Many of them are up 100% in a month. Well, first of all, Jay Rice, I'm going to defend him a little bit here, because much like you, he was in CCJ and LEU way early. I don't know if you had a $38 entry on LEU like Jay here did, Tim, but he's been in these for a while. It was right.
It was before it moved.
Yeah, and he had mentioned him and given him out here. But how do you handle that? How do you address that there? Look, many of the names have moved already. Are you late?
First off, I'm not late. You missed the first part of this conversation. I've been long physical uranium for 3 years. Okay. So we've been long physical uranium for a very long time. Cameco and LEU both showed up in our momentum models. Now, they are moving up. I mean, you look at SMR, the thing's had a huge move. It's 100% a momentum stock. We talked about this last night, right? You're not investing in a business when you buy SMR because there's no business, right? There's a bunch of contracts and maybes and hopefuls, and there's 19 signed contracts with various monetary value someday down the road. These guys will not have meaningful cash flow till 2029 at the soonest, assuming everything goes right. So you're really trading the story. So, and look, we talked about the setup last night. It breaks over the moving averages on a huge volume swell. Yep. You look around, all the other nuclear energy stocks are doing it. If you're a trader, that's not a bad setup to get in. You've got a breakout on big volume. I know a lot of guys made a lot of money on that. So, but now the nuclear energy demand that we're talking about is real. It's going to happen. They're going to be a huge player in AI, but we're ridiculously far ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
We're seeing electric utilities go up because they're going to have nuclear energy plants, right? Well, building nuclear energy plants is an expense, kids, a big one. I cut my teeth in distressed securities back in the late 80s, buying preferred stocks and bonds issued by utilities that had massive cost overruns on nuclear power plants, and eventually had to file bankruptcy to reorganize the whole thing. Massively profitable trade, by the way. I'm kind of hoping it happens again. So it's an expense. These guys aren't going to realize the cash benefits of that for a while. So right now, and this is being talked about out there in the desert, where do we go? So it's going to be nuclear down the road. Elon Musk says in his presentation, eventually we're going to get all of our power from the sun. Most of our power will come from the sun. We're going to figure out how to store it. We'll use these solar farms with big battery operations to power all of the data centers. He is 100% correct. Now, the Saudi Arabian officials came on, the CEO of the oil company said, look, here's what we're going to do. We got all the natural gas in the world, right? We've got natural gas till the cows come home. So we're going to build data centers and we're going to let you choose. And it's this much for natural gas, and it's 50% more for pure renewables, renewable natural gas combination, because the sun don't shine at night. Saudi Arabia, and we got to look at a way to play this. We haven't gotten to this one yet. Saudi Arabia, they've got unlimited sun. They've got damn near unlimited oil and gas, and lots of natural gas that's never really been tapped into. And they've got enormous amounts of open space. They are going to be a massive. Steve Schwartzman of Blackstone, they're building the largest data center business in the world, right? They're, targeting 25 billion. He's not in Riyadh for the nightlife. Okay. They're there because they're going to be a massive data center player. So there's going to be ways to play that, but that's not really what I wanted to talk about today.
I was going to say, Martin's cutting right to the chase. What do we buy now? What do we long now?
You want to be long natural gas. Natural gas it's trying to create another break-in, and this will be the third breakout to positive trend. This will be the third one in the last year attempt. First one made a pretty good little run, then stopped out. You would have been even if you'd taken the whole ride from signal to signal. Now,
are you trading the futures contract, or what vehicle are you trading here?
Make your own call if you're going to trade it. I do it from an investment point of view. Natural gas futures, you can trade them. If you don't have a stop in, you're either going to get really rich or lose your house. It's going to be one or the other. The demand the demand picture long term is really bright for natural gas. Right now, major concerns about the Chinese economy and about overproduction in the United States have kept a lid on natural gas. Someday it's going to switch over to a positive trend on a breakout, and it's just going to keep running. Which breakout will that be? I have no idea. I do know that, Coterra Energy, we talked about this one last night, CTRA. Right now, Coterra Energy, exploration and production company, huge operations in Anadarko, the Permian, but most importantly, for all purposes of this conversation, the Marcellus Shale Field in Pennsylvania, which is massive natural gas field. They're big there. You're going to, and by the way, Tom Jordan, the CEO, is all in on AI. He's just not enthusiastic about building data centers in Pennsylvania right next to his natural gas wells. He's using AI and machine learning to run his business, to explore for oil, to produce oil, to bring it up, to transport it to market. He's managing the business using AI and machine learning. They actually have machine learning as sort of a de facto member of the board. So the computer's right there spitting out answers. So they're all in on AI, but they understand about as well as anybody in this business right now, AI demand is going to be huge. Data centers are going to use massive amounts of energy. And guys, yes, nuclear and solar, they're the answer. We can't get there today. We can't even get close. Okay. So that's 5 maybe 10 years down the road. Sam Altman of OpenAI said we literally cannot get there without fusion, right? Classic nuclear energy is fission. Fusion, we just for the first time were able to produce fission energy for a millisecond that had more energy than we put in to create it. Okay, so you're a decade away, probably at least. I mean, this is everything goes right. In a decade, we might have commercially viable nuclear fission, which will be the answer to a lot of these problems. Until then, we're gonna burn a lot of natural gas.
Yeah, with you on that. Okay, CTRA. That's the first one.
Okay.
Do you have another one for us? Not that I'm trying to get greedy here or anything, Tim. And just
who did you think you had on this morning? You know, some stingy guy. Come on. All right. Let's get into the dividend collecting stuff because we all know that, you know, Tim Melvin and dividends, we go together like coffee and coffee. Granted,
like that too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, my wife puts all this stuff in her coffee and I just don't understand it. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, me either. Coffee plain is the way to go.
Okay, so now Granite Point. Let me get why I always blank on this symbol. Granite Ridge, I'm sorry.
What's the symbol?
GRNT, I believe. Yes.
GRNT.
GRNT. Okay, look, this is non-operator oil wells. They own small percentages, and I'm talking small, 1-2% of about between 2,500 and 3,000 oil and gas wells around the United States. Production is 40% natural gas, 13% natural gas liquids. So you've got a decent amount of this production is natural gas. The rest is crude oil. They pay the cash flow out as a dividend, yielding 7.39%. The nice thing about non-operated is they have wells that have relationships with all the big oil companies, all credit-worthy, you know, operators. But it's much easier to sell a 1 or 2% interest in a well as it begins to peter out and move on to the next one to replenish your inventory than it is to sell a whole drilling field of wells. So I love the business model that's here. I really am a fan of management of this thing. As gas prices and gas demand goes up and gas prices go up, this dividend will go up because they're paying out all the cash flow. And
it pays a 7.27% dividend here.
Yep.
Good stuff there. That is okay. That is GRNT. You got another one for us, and then I also have a question for you about one.
Okay, the next one up then, just in case we get stuck, with Blackstone Minerals. Blackstone Minerals is an oil and gas royalty company. Now, let's get
sticker on that. Sorry, Tim.
BSM is my friend at Blackstone Minerals. Now, you see that LP after the name, guys? It's a K1. Isn't that horrible? Don't worry about it. And you know, K1s are a pain in the ass, and it's going to be a little kicky on your tax return. It doesn't matter. They do not throw off any UBTI, unrelated business taxable income, so you can own as much of this in your IRA as you want. This is oil and gas interests all over the United States. They own the land. That's all they own is the land, and they get a royalty interest from all the oil and gas that's produced on it by the oil company. So they lease the land to the oil companies. They get royalty payments. They kick those back to us as dividends. Current dividend yield, it was 11.53% based on trailing. It's a little bit lower than that now. It's probably down between 8 and 9% because of the decline in oil prices and gas prices. As that market renormalizes, that dividend will go right back up. These guys are the champions of replenishing their land inventory. They've been around for a long time. They're really good at this. And this is one of those ones, if you look at it on a super long-term chart back to when they came public in 2015, you can see the big dip in 2020. And as soon as oil prices stabilized and normalized, it came right back up.
Doubled, yeah.
All this thing has to do is sit here and throw out the cash, and you're going to beat the market.
Okay. That you know, Tim, you know I love plays like that. Okay, real quick question here from thinking about it. He's had several for you. They've all been good. Ask Tim about his bank pick TCBX. It's been flying. Do you have an update on this one?
Do I have an update? Yes, I have an update. The stock is going higher.
That's good. So
Smart
I
ass.
can never.
Sorry
I know,
about that, guys.
No. I know a lot of these. You've talked about it. A lot of these you've said, we close the trade when the bank gets rolled up or taken over. And so I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to ask that question just to see if there's an update here. The stock is indeed flying higher here. You'd love to see that.
This thing's doing everything a growth stock does, right? They're crushing the analyst estimates, posting positive surprise after positive surprise. Earnings are skyrocketing. They're moving very successfully into new markets. And remember, this bank was actually started by a group of business people in the Houston area who just couldn't find banking systems after the great financial crisis. I mean, there's not too many banks that were started in March of 2008 that actually made it through the next year. So they've grown from Houston to Dallas to San Antonio. Now they're moving into that, massive Austin market, and they keep experiencing success. They're not doing a ton of commercial real estate. It's mostly commercial and industrial loans to businesses that are looking to grow. Now, guys, you can love Texas. You can hate Texas. I happen to love Texas. I have to. My wife's from there. But Texas has one of the more robust economies in the United States, right? When all those tech companies left California a couple years ago, they went to Texas. Texas has no state income tax. This is not just an oil and gas state anymore. It's a massive agricultural state, huge tourism, huge technology, big biotech industry. So Texas on its own is a really robust economy, and they're one of the best growth banks. Now, why has it flown up? Because it was a small bank in Texas that nobody was paying attention to. Kids trading at 70% of book value. Okay. Clean balance sheet, lots of capital, 70% of book value. I will take that bet every time. You've got a massive probability of making money and a strong probability of making, as we have done with this stock, a lot of money.
Okay. There we go. Awesome stuff here, Tim. I love Wednesdays. Seems like everyone else loves Wednesdays as well. We're going to be doing more. If you want to hear more from Tim, we're going to have more stuff going on in Benzinga Edge. So be sure to check that out, and Benzinga Pro. Tim, I can't thank you enough for all of your expertise. I look forward to our next evening webinar. I'll start sharing some of the deets with the group in here in case they want to make it. But we'll also look forward to you on Wednesday.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. And we'll talk again soon.
Promise me you'll survive the election, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
I'll survive the election. I've got popcorn. I'm ready, man. Let's make it happen. I'm ready to go. We'll talk to you guys soon.
That is the attitude we need. He is Tim Melvin. Thank you very much. Awesome stuff there from Tim. Thinking about it. There you go. There you go. Okay, let's get back down to some of the active trading here and see what's going on. You know what? I probably should have asked him about ASPI, honestly. That's one of the new nuclear names here. It is kind of rolling over here today. We do not give buy or sell recommendations. You, at the end of the day, are the trader. You will have to control your risk, and you will make the buy and sell decisions. We are going to try and tell you what we're doing, what we're seeing, and bring you information from industry experts. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, ASPI probably going to maybe go under 7, but it looks like it could recover later. It's just that the run up into the open here, the formation that we got on this 5-minute chart looks very bearish. I could even go so far to say it looks very much like a head and shoulders. So if we're going to get the resolution of that, we likely are going to come down to the 200 SMA on the 5-minute. But there's also a chance we might not exactly touch it. It could get some support a little bit earlier before it gets down there. But I think there's maybe one more leg down before we start seeing it turn around.
Okay. Okie dokie. Let's roll through some of the names here. I'm going to flip back to the 1-minute chart. THAR breaking down the penny stock. STI pressured under its VWAP. ENSC, same deal. Now your ATRC13, we did get volume here in the pre-market. That continued to march higher here, looking pretty good in a 36 handle.
Yep, just a little bit of a heavier float, but it's looking like this one is one of the better ones after we got that shaky open. Yep. Also,
NRDS, Nerdwallet here. This dipped out of the open, probably to profit takers, right back up to that $15 handle right there. So Pack B moving. Did this have news, folks? Pack B. Wednesday. Did this? Yeah. Volta Labs joins PacBio compatible program to help PacBio customers scale sequencing through automated library prep. I don't even know what that means. Okay, I'm not gonna BS you here. I have no idea what that means. Stock up 11%. It seems on the back of that PR here.
Daily chart.
Volume actually pretty decent too. Sorry, 13.
Look at the daily chart on this.
You might be breaking out of this. Maybe fill this gap.
Turn on some SMAs. It gets better.
Okay, you said SMAs. I'm going to go to my bigger chart here. Let's do that. Pack B. Let's get those SMAs. Here you go. Oh, look at this 13. We making a dash. We making a dash to that 200, 275. 200 day moving.
So. I think so.
And what does the gap fill happen at?
The gap fill looks like
277.
Yeah. So that's a really interesting spot there.
Indeed.
And it looks like, as you pointed out, we are kind of breaking out of this resistance, which seems to be around 230?
Yeah, I would say 230 here just by eyeballing it. I know we had some candles back here in May that go a little bit higher than that, but that seems correct. So Pack B here. News while we were live.
Yeah.
News while we were live.
Yeah. So this one, I mean, that's a really good consolidation too. You could even say that that's a triple bottom consolidation there. So you got that first move down to the bottom in April, second bottoming in July, third one last month. Haven't been down there since. Look to recapture that 200. We could see a really nice technical reversal here in this one. What's the news exactly?
Let me go back to that Pack B here. I'll read it to you.
They joined Pack.
Yeah. Volta Labs joins the compatible program to help customer scale sequencing through automated library prep. Like I said, I don't really know what that means. I can't expand on this for you without reading into it.
Also, it's got us a pretty high short interest, so squeezing there too. 20.5% of the float shorted with almost 6 days to cover. I think that's probably the big reason for the move here is the squeezing.
So it looks like this is going to be some type of like AI. They're able to produce these PacBio hi-fi libraries with less than 30 minutes of hands-on time and 5.5 hours of walk-away time. So it looks like this is just going to make them more efficient at what they do. Yeah.
Getting a mention that TMDX is
check out.
Let's see. Is that what? Let's see. TMDX. That doesn't look like it's making a new high.
This was the organ transport company. We actually talked about this in Happy Hour earlier this week. This took another leg lower yesterday, breached those lows, and then today actually looks like this wants to go. That is new low of day. It doesn't look like it did that from the morning here, Kuma.
Yeah, we're in some consolidation right now from earlier in the year.
Yeah. No question.
I'm trying to see if I can get a read on where this might find a support. I would say maybe around 70. Looks like 70 could be a good spot. If you draw a line at 70 and look on a daily chart and look to the left, you see how that has been a particular level of support.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're right about that.
70 might be the one.
Yeah, you're right about that. 13. Okay, real quickly, yesterday we talked about the AI play NBIS. I actually took gains on this and closed out my position. It was small. I'm going to wait for this to pull back here. I still like this. I'm still going to watch this, but basically we had a move here from 14 to 24 in just a matter of a couple of days. So we booked those gains. We'll add here on pullbacks, but definitely wanted to update the group on NBIS. We'll take a look at some of the other stocks that are moving here. ASPI making another move back towards that VWAP. Let's check in on SMCI. So this moved above its VWAP, came back in. So far, it's holding it. Stock down 27% after its audit firm just quitting. Over concerns, not good. Snap, this reported earnings yesterday. This dipped a little bit out of the open. New highs here, though, on Snap.
And it's true that SMCI still has not put out that report they missed, right? That earnings?
I don't recall it.
So here we are 13 days away from the next one that's due.
Now, that's unconfirmed, so I'm not sure what they've done. And now we've got this other piece of news. I don't know what they're going to do. Here's a quote. We are resigning due to information that has recently come to our attention, which has led us to no longer be able to rely on the management and audit committee's representations and to be unwilling to be associated with the financial statements prepared by management. And after concluding, we can no longer provide the audit services in accordance with applicable law or professional obligations. That's bad.
It sounds like it just smells of fraud.
Yeah. Smells of fraud. Izzy here saying on CNBC, you are correct. It's exactly where I was reading this from. It's also in your news feed here. SMCI down 27.5% here today. Tesla, on the other hand, reversing pretty good. 256 bounce. We are 5 points off the lows here.
To answer the question about how long they get listed from non-compliance, that's really going to be up to the SEC, maybe even NASDAQ. I think they're on NASDAQ. Yes, they are.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one.
It's really going to depend on what kind of deal they're able to strike with them, because as we've been observing, NASDAQ has been letting a lot of these really junky names kind of stay on the exchanges for a lot longer than they should be, just raking in those fees. So my answer is going to be I don't know, but here's why I don't know. It's because of that. The NASDAQ may just kind of continue raking in fees in order for SMCI to stay listed for longer than they should. So I really can't tell you when they might get delisted, but if they're going to keep funneling money into the exchange regulators, might be a while.
Real quick here, Fairchild, that Yankees fan should face assault charges. You should never touch players. I think I know what you're talking about. There's a little home run ball or ball in the foul territory. Yeah. I can't remember what it is. My PSA for this, I'm just going to do the same thing I say every time. If you attend a sports event, don't touch the player. If the player's trying to dap you up or give you 5, that's one thing. But otherwise, just keep your hands off the players, folks.
Yeah.
Keep your hands off the players.
If they Lambo leap, that's totally fine.
That's the player taking the initiative, though. Taking the initiative. Real quickly here, RSA, you were saying earlier there was a squawk alert saying that there is an announcement coming on November 5th after hours. Was this in reference to SMCI? I went ahead and, by the way, for all of you that are unaware, Squawk transcription is available in the calendar. So in the details tool, if you click on calendars, Squawk is one of them, has these transcribed here. Here is what RS is talking about. This came, 8:56. This was earlier here today. SMCI to host Q1 fiscal 2025 business update on November 5th at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you, RSA. SMCI shows shares moving sharply lower on their independent accountant resigning. So here you go. RSA was a good mention there. Good man. Took me a sec to find it there, but I found it. Okay, what else we got? Thar breaking down.
Yeah.
Thar, she blows to the downside.
It looks like it's getting support at the moment, but I still think that 375 might be in the cards soon.
Lilly here. Lilly just went SSR. Crassy. Lilly is short sale restricted. Interesting. This stock down 10% here today. Lilly shares trading lower after the company reported worse than expected Q3 earnings and sales. I'm with Dennis on this one. I'm surprised this one never split. It is worth noting. Look where we traded down to.
Well, I think if it's split, it would definitely get hammered. That just really makes the supply harder to move.
Yeah, I don't mean on this report. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't split prior to this. But this did just trade down to a support, so possible bounce spot here.
Yeah, and they already have a float of almost 800 million. So splitting, What do you mean? You're going to go over $1 billion on that.
ASPI, maybe it reclaims that VWAP that's going on right now.
It's in the process of doing that at the moment.
QNCX, Wiss, I owe you an apology. You had mentioned this one earlier. There was a lot going on. I missed your call out on this. I'm pretty sure that you banked hard off this, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the register ring and the one up. This did retrace its entire move. Maybe it sets up again. Sorry for missing this one earlier, Wiss. I did see that you were mentioning this, though.
Fairchild, I think you may be getting more nutritional value than pancakes with syrup, so you do you, man.
Wait, what? I'm having cheesecake for breakfast because I'm a grown-ass man and I do what I want. Look, if you're having cheesecake for breakfast, I suspect that you're the one winning the day. Just gonna throw that out there.
Just let them have cheesecake.
Let them eat cake. Tesla, more highs here. Who's trading? We need Lynn and Randy back here. They're always busy in the morning now, but they're probably ripping Tesla here. 262, big move up.
They're probably thinking about us. They probably are asking about where we are. ASPI still trying to push higher into the 8 handle. Might run into some resistance around 840. Maybe slightly higher, but there's some consolidation there. So that supply zone needs to get chewed through. So far, good earnings. Sorry, go ahead.
Gmail having issues here. It's not really necessarily important. Gmail's having issues. Down detector confirming that. I actually had issues myself.
Well, that's great.
Matt Winch. God, at first I thought that said Matt Walsh. I was like, what's up, dude? SoFi on good earnings. Go to Reddit for cheesecake. Sydney, I don't know what that means.
Look at all these. Look at all these new price targets for Google. These are at 200 or higher now. Except nope, that's it. They're all higher. Except UBS, they say 192. Whatever. They want it to be 200.
Google here. This again, I'm still really impressed with your call. This did fill the gap, just as you said. We'll see if we break higher here. Google, ticker GOOG.
And let's see here. ASPI just with a still working on the recovery, but doing it nicely.
Nerds did take out that 15. When we looked at this last time, we were right below it. It looked like it couldn't take it out. We did take that now.
1542 pre-market high in Nerdwallet. That's the level to watch for. FMC is kind of just consolidating here. I don't know what we're going to get, but if I had to guess, I think we might get a bit of a pull on SMC.
Right to that 66 level that it can never get over.
Well, it can get over there, and it's a matter of staying over it. It's had all year it's been having trouble staying above it.
You can see that clear as day from the chart here. Maybe Crimp Biscuit. It's curling. It's curling. I'm probably gonna pass on this. I'm probably gonna stay away from a lot of these names.
ASP has been good.
ASPI, right to the VWAP.
Yep, ASPI.
Seeing a bunch of Tesla call flow right now. That spike up.
Seeing QBTS with some nice movement this morning.
QBTS, that's that quantum computing name, huh?
Yeah, that went down to 109, and now it's ripping up to 117.
This is a Carmen name, isn't it? Pretty sure Carmen owns this one, yeah.
She does. She does.
And RGV, this is a good move higher here on volume. AI Rod, mentioning Eli Lilly here. Just talked about, wow, Lilly coming back. All right. This is a fun trade. When you feel like you have a line on this, Lilly is a fun trade. It's expensive, but it moves pretty good. No position here for me on Lilly. How's VKTX doing? VKTX, what, down in sympathy probably? $72 though. Thank God, man, this went right to 80. I wonder if this is going to establish a new kind of a low level here in the low 70s.
Kind of just looking to see if SMCI is going to be successful or not in trying to turn this this price action around. If it does try to start coming up, I would think that $40 would be a pretty significant resistance area. Let me look at it daily again. Because we got down to that 35. We're actually in the 35 handle right now. That's where I was looking for support earlier. We actually went as low as 32.50. But yeah, I think 40 looks like a big level where we could see some resistance. So if we trade back up there, if I was going to take a stab at this, and I don't want to touch it, but if I was, and I wanted to play it to 40, I think I'd be out at 40 and just be done with it.
PAC-B, we talked about this one earlier. This continuing to move here. You're right on that, Derek. Reddit still moving higher here. Oh, look, they're covering that Davos in the desert. I have Ray Dalio being interviewed by Sarah Eisen right now in Riyadh.
Thar looking like it's taking the next leg down, looking for 375 there on Thar.
Reddit actually might be trying to break out here around this 113 handle. Let's call it 113 to 114. She blows to the downside. We got it.
XIII having a nominal day.
EYPT moving back to the highs here. This actually appearing on the relative volume scanner, EYPT. Good job trading this one. You were all over this.
Yeah, I'm not in it at the moment, even though we did back test that 1125 level yesterday. So, and there's not a solid confirmation on when the earnings are. I've seen that I've seen some places say that it was going to be yesterday, some say it was going to be today, and I have others saying that it's not going to be until November 6th or November 8th. So I don't have a really good exact day on when they're supposed to be reporting earnings, but it's going to be soon. There should be some good data and some good news in there as well. I don't expect them to record any kind of profitability, but I'm looking for updates on their DuraView drug. And there's also a gap fill potential here. We break 14, with some volume. This thing could run up into the 19 handle. There's a big gap to fill there.
Seeing a tweet here on Twitter. We haven't talked about it yet. This is actually a good comment. Curious to know if any of you have any insight on this. As far as the auditor statements go, Ernst & Young's SMCI resignation letter is about as strongly worded as I have seen. The next question may be, what does NVIDIA do about a client whose auditor suggests they lack a commitment to integrity and ethical values? Remember, SMCI, a big customer of NVIDIA. We can no longer provide the audit services that we already talked about that. So this is kind of a good question there. How does NVIDIA handle this? What do they do next?
Do you remember when we the first time that SMCI was really dropping because they weren't releasing earnings, and there was a lot of questions that were being raised, and this very same one with NVIDIA. You recall what I was asking?
Not off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Are the checks clearing?
Yes. Now I do. Now that you mention that, I do.
So I think that's what we'd want to hear from NVIDIA, that they, that things that they got, that the money was in the bank, that they got paid for everything they gave SMCI. I think you're right. I think we do need to hear from NVIDIA. I think one of the first things they need to say is, every time that we've sold something to them, the checks cleared, and that was that. And I think that would be a positive. But yeah, doing business with this company that's, cooking the books, not great sight.
Less than ideal, as they like to say. Reddit here, by the way, intraday breakout, as it did take out that 114. Looks like it's still kind of flirting with that area, but we did take it out.
I was being asked about XLO. This is Xilio Therapeutics, and they wanted to get an idea of their financials. Companies, it's losing 14 to almost 20 million a quarter. The company has about 75 million on the balance sheet based on the most recent information I have. They do report in 12 days, so we'll get an update on that. But that burn rate, not a good thing to see. You got about 3 quarters, maybe 4 there worth of cash runway. I don't know how far along they are into their drug trials. So that's going to be a big question of if they're going to be able to completely go through that without having to raise more capital or not. As far as revenue goes, they just reported their first bit of revenue last quarter, 2.3 million, but they're still losing, almost 14 million. So their operational costs are just killing them. So to answer your question, I think that you need to get an idea just how far along they are with their drug pipeline. I wholly expect at some point that they'll need to do a capital raise again, if they're not yet to phase 3 trials yet. That tends to be the most expensive one. But if they do find a partner to bring in capital to help bring their drug to market, then that would be a positive sign. But for now, it's just a matter of cash runway, and I don't have any idea how far along they are with their drug, if they even have one in the pipeline.
Okay. Good stuff here. Ghost Steve's asking, have you guys reviewed XIII earnings yet? No, we haven't. XIII not a stock that we normally review, but if no one has any objections, I'd be happy to take a look at it now. This has been pretty beaten down, hasn't it? Yeah, look at this daily chart here. Etsy just kind of on the lows. So looks like we're popping here. The earnings are coming after the close here today, so there's nothing to review. I guess we could only preview it as that earnings is coming here tonight. Like I said, though, maybe this one can pop here. It's a kind of a beaten down name, didn't really run into the print. Maybe we get a pop here. Not a stock that I follow. I'd really like to see this test 53 though on a good piece of news.
Yeah, this is this is down into the COVID era of lows.
Yeah.
So sometimes we've seen a lot of these decent names. They'll trickle down into just keep on going down and down into earnings, and then they have the earnings print and they rally because they've been so discounted.
Yeah, and because the bar is set so low.
Right. Not saying that that's exactly what's going to happen here, but it tends to happen. So kind of can get a gauge if we might see something like that by looking at their balance sheet, kind of looking at what some other analysts feel. They have some pretty good short interest here. So if the earnings are at least somewhat decent, you might get a squeeze. There's something to keep an eye on. This is the highest short interest they've ever recorded, as far as I can tell. And they have 5.63 days to cover. This is a squeeze candidate. So depending on how those earnings go, you could see some pretty good movement out of this.
Replay Game Lab saying I would take eBay over Etsy. I would too for a longer term trade. Shout out though to the squeeze formation that 13 just talked about. By the way, this was another one of those stocks. We in the happy hour, we actually had a theme where we were watching a lot of the madness that happened after COVID with some of these stock prices. We would often say a stock would get cut in half and then cut in half again. Etsy is exactly that.
Let's see, getting a little bit of a pull in Nerdwallet, just on the verge of trying to get out of 15 here. It looks like we've got some trading over 15 this morning, but it's not able to hold above it. BIBI, this thing still trying to turn around. This could end up going a little bit higher. The MACD is indicating that there may be some positivity coming in the price action of the stock. So maybe it gets a lift up to the 280s. That'd be my guess. I don't know how far it goes from there.
There you go. BIVI.
What else? What else do you want to take a look at, folks?
UIS Unisys shares trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q3 sales results. This flagging up here at 7. This looks like this wants to go higher. Serve, I know this was a popular one. This actually ramping off the morning print here, right back to some of the previous levels that we've had from earlier this week on SERV. Someone mentioned Porch earlier. I think I got tied up and didn't mention it. PRCH. This is actually a pretty decent formation here. All right, we had that initial impulse spike on Monday. We retested that area yesterday. Now we're curling back up. I'd be curious to know if we retest the same area here again today.
Sorry, I was just kind of taking a look at the news
good.
regarding UIS. Looks like it's just moving on guidance because the EPS was a miss. The sales were a pretty good beat, but I think that that guidance is what's really lifting this now because it was a pretty good raise. It's a whole 1% higher than they were that they guided compared to what that was previously. So.
Sydney, you're mentioning Lumen and Amazon news. I know you mentioned that earlier. Looks like the stock really not really responding to this. Lumen and Amazon Web Services partner to enhance AI-driven network operations across the U.S., integrating next-gen fiber for scalable AI applications. Lumen leveraging Amazon Bedrock for autonomous networking and improved customer experience. This sounds great. Lumen, not even up 1% on that.
Fiber optics, one of the best. If not the best way of hardline data transfer, no noise, so it's just all light
and super fast, consistent speeds too. Mira here, Mira new highs. This is getting mentioned here by Clean Slate. Good to see a Clean Slate. I know you had mentioned this earlier. I probably went over it, but good stuff.
Also, I was mentioning this to you in the pre-market fist fight. I was seeing some rumors that Intel may get picked up by either Samsung or Apple. At the very least, Samsung's interested in maybe some assets being sold off. But I think the reason for Samsung wanting to pick up Intel is because they were having problems with their current line of chips, and they wanted some more fabrication capabilities. Apple, on the other hand, I think they were looking to acquire Intel because they wanted to be able to produce their own, or they have more control over their supply chains. I think Brian, remember me telling you about how they're a little bit heavily dependent on China's supply chain. When it comes to some of these smaller sets of chips that they use for their phones and other devices. So I think that might be the angle that Apple's looking, because they're still going to get their best chips made by TSMC, as most of these big names do. But I think Apple's looking for a little bit more control over their supply chain, especially now that they're having trouble trying to, with iPhone sales in China, and China wants backdoor access and capabilities so that they can monitor their citizens. And I don't know if Apple's going to go for that.
Okay.
I know it's a mouthful, but that's what I've been hearing and seeing lately. So what are we doing here with some of these movers? It looks like things.
I'll be honest. Some of the smaller movers that we've been talking about kind of look crummy here. Eli Lilly at the HOD, AI Rod. Looks like you've been on this all day. Some of these bigger names, probably better trades here. I'll be honest though, I have not felt great about any of these things. Swing accounts cooking, so I don't feel pressured today.
Yeah,
Tesla, probably one of the better trades too. VIX here, trying to round off at 1950. I would look for that VIX to go higher. Maybe not before the election. We'll see.
Hold on, I'm just reading something real quick that might be interesting regarding SMCI.
Okay, I'm holding on to my desk. Just kidding. Just kidding, dude. SMCI had a nice little bounce there, went back to VWAP. So far, it's holding that. We'll see where we go next. SMCI. Ray Dalio is still doing his interview with Sarah Eisen. Okay, let's see what some of my trader buddies are doing. See if there's anything. Mira, Reddit, and FAR look to be the ones that are getting
So just a brief print here saying that SMCI does not currently expect that the resolution of any matters raised by their previous auditor Ernst & Young or the special committee is going to result in any restatements of quarterly reports ending fiscal year 2024 June 30th or prior fiscal years. So somebody tell me if I'm misreading this, but it seems like anything that we were expecting out of Ernst & Young and any future auditing, likely not going to happen.
Yeah, and Edward here, kind of just along that point there, 13. Incredible that people are buying SMCI at this point. I think it's got to just be traders that are buying that.
Yeah, I would say if anybody's buying this for an investment, they may be hurting themselves, but this is providing some pretty good trading opportunities, as long as they're not planning on holding this overnight or anything like that. I think this is getting some good day trading volume, but that's it.
Yeah, if you were looking for a stock to add on weakness because you think it's going to get back to where it came from, I don't think SMCI was the play here today. It was Lilly.
Yeah,
and frankly, I mean, it was Lilly 40, 50 points ago. So AI Rod here, he's all over it. 70-point swing here. This is why we do some of these. 770-year low print, currently just printed at 843. 843 on that. So huge move here on Lilly. This was probably the one to add if you're looking for this to go back. I don't know that either of them do, frankly, but this one seems a little bit stronger.
Well, they're still filing their earnings reports.
Yeah, they're not cooking their books. So maybe that whole thing will play into it. No, you're right about that. You're right about that, 13.
I'm glad we can laugh about stuff like that.
I mean, look, at this point, that what else do we have? Am I gonna get bent out of shape about that? I'm gonna laugh about it. Then I'm gonna exercise. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm just
Sounds
gonna
like
be
a
honest
good
with
plan. All right. Are we seeing Thar turn around here? It's been consolidating at this level for some time now. Still waiting to see if it's going to touch that 65 EMA, but it looks like it may be getting some support enough to turn it around. So we'll wait and see what we get here.
Apple at the lows here. Haven't been trading that. Netflix at the lows. I wonder, I know that SPY is still what? SPY's about unchanged here, up about 75 cents. Is rolling over here a little bit. Let me bring that on screen. We'll do a little bit of a market update here. Here is your SPY. So we traded right back to the pre-market level, 583 and backed off. We're at that 582.50. It's not quite that 582.30 level that we're looking for. Let me cue that up here real quick.
Let's see here.
Here's that level. We're above it. I wouldn't be shocked if this ended up giving up 582.30. Just saying. Take a look at the cues real quick while we're doing that. Go ahead, 13.
I don't necessarily know if Apple's going to break down or not. We have earnings tomorrow after the market closes, and we are seeing a little bit of weakness. But here's a couple of levels for y'all. I think the 20 and 50-day SMAs are going to be some pretty good levels to watch for. You have the 20 at 230 and 68 cents currently. The 50s at 227 and 20 cents. Both above a trend line that I drew months ago. So the 50 is kind of right there. I'd imagine if we do end up getting that weakness, that trend line is going to provide support as it did back on October 23rd for me. So that's what I'd be looking for with that moving average and that trend line. Okay.
Okie dokie. Katan saying y'all missed QRVO Apple supplier. Let me go back to that here real quick and pull that up. QRVO.
Down on earnings from
excuse me. Looks like this is trading lower here. So you're saying that this is an Apple supplier and this is the reason that Apple's being pulled down here today. Sounds like Katan. Good stuff.
Okay. So that's okay. So they are a supplier. You know of exactly of what types of let's see, looks like radio frequency micro device. So kind of maybe the modem's similar to Qualcomm or components that work with Qualcomm. Help me out here if that's what they do. Yeah, they had softer guidance. It looks like, so it's lower.
Stay focused. This is your official comment of the day here. SMCI went to the biggest accounting firm and the most reputable for auditing public companies, and they got rejected like Mutombo. Insane. Stay focused. I would agree with you. That is indeed insane. Jay Rice, regarding Lilly, did they stop taking the fat drug? Look at the moves in Eat, Shack, and Cake today. So Shack had earnings this morning. Did the rest of those have earnings as well? Indeed. Shack up 12% on the backs of those earnings here. Let's take a look at the other tickers that you had mentioned here. Here's Eat, also moving on earnings. This one only up 7.5%. Still a pretty big move. And then Cake, Cheesecake Factory, also moving on earnings. So
you have Chipotle reporting yesterday, and they report worse. So what's the disconnect here? Are people moving away from Mexican food? I don't know. I mean, what's the disconnect here? Why is this company, this particular company's Chipotle, doing so bad, but these other ones are doing great? I guess that theme of a weakening consumer not eating out as much might not be the case. Or is it just a preference at this point?
Kava a little bit weaker here too. They report tonight, 13. So maybe we'll get more of these definitive answers when we get this report here tonight.
Gotcha.
And then Wing, yeah, that was another one. Thank you, Jay. I was like, Ryan, as we were talking about this when 13 started talking, I was like, Ryan, you're missing a ticker here. There's one here. Wing. Thank you, Jay, for bringing me back to earth here. This thing is expensive. The forward PE here. The chart, I mean, this thing is just totally run up. I guess, weren't there people saying that, you know, football season, this, that, and the other thing? Anyway, you can see Wing here, big move down. I kind of wonder if there's more down move in this.
Yeah, stay focused. I understand that, but my point is, like, why is Chipotle, you know, doing worse while, you know, more expensive sit down restaurants like Cake are doing better? That's kind of where I'm kind of confused. Like, you know, easy in and out, get Chipotle. I get that it can be pretty expensive in some states, still cheaper than Cake.
Yeah, and so that's my experience here too. I mean, I live in the Socialist Republic of Illinois, and when I go to Chipotle, the burrito that I get is $8.62. So now I just get the burrito, right? And you can get chips, and you can add on queso, and maybe get a bowl with a side tortilla and a drink and all of that other stuff. But my goal in going to Chipotle is delicious, cleaner food. That's not at a sit-down restaurant.
I think
when
it comes to Wingstop, I thought we identified the double top here, and now we're seeing the resolution.
Yeah,
okay.
No, we did. That's right here. It's actually still on screen. I beg your pardon. I'm just saying that things might be a little bit different here in Wing now. That might have. I'm not sure if we get back to those highs in the near future.
Yeah. Very big sell-off, though. I'd imagine there would be some kind of a short-term bounce. Maybe it tries to trade back up for a couple of days before going lower. AMD, what do you guys see as the next big support? Let's take a look and see, shall we?
Which one? ENSC?
AMD.
Oh, AMD. Sorry.
No worries. I mean, this is bouncing up, or there should be a support right about where we're at. I think this is a here. Maybe you can help me out here, Ryan. Draw a trend line from the March 8th high through the July 12th high, and keep it going, and you'll see where we're getting support.
Here's your March 8th high. There's your July high. Keep it going. We look like, now I might have drawn this a little janky, 13, but it looks like we just kind of cracked through that.
Yeah, mine's showing that we're trying to get support from that. So, but the point still stands that we're right here trying to, find some support, and it looks like this trend line is playing a part in that. Now, the thing that's concerning for me is that we're beneath our 50-day SMA. We don't want that if we're looking for upside. So, if we want to see more upside in this, we're going to need to see a recapture of the 50-day SMA. We're not going to want to see more closes beneath it, because that'll lead to potentially more downside. So, if 3 or 4 days from now we're still beneath the 50-day SMA, I don't think it might be a very good buy up here.
Amanda here, I had 150 as support for AMD. My puts are 135 in case people freak out.
Yeah,
we are at the very hairy edge of the expected move we calculated yesterday. Amanda, you are better than a computer, honestly.
135 is a really good looking spot to me too. I like that.
Sure is. Dr. Manfred, I think I've been pretty clear. Mitch, you were asking about AMD. Does this answer? Yes, I'm saying. Does this answer his question? Is that sufficient? Did you get the levels that you were looking for?
Looks like Thar is turning around. Looking to come up to VWAP.
Let's see what it does at that VWAP. Right, that's going to be key. Do we take that out? Do we move higher? Yes, perfect. Awesome, Mitch. We got you. Yeah, gotcha. By the way, a look ahead here. Story trading coming up here at 11. We're going to have Zunaid on. We're going to see how he's doing. Check out his fresh haircut. We're going to send you over to story trading. And then after that, we have tech tune-up at noon. All right, so we still got some great content for you here on this hump day.
And Edward, we might get a lot of these names where they've got good earnings. Guidance might be off a little bit, and then they end up selling off. And the reason for that is because some of these tech names are very, very extended and overvalued. So they might have good earnings, but I think what it does is it creates more liquidity for folks that are looking to take profit to be able to get out at the prices that are much more preferred. So that's kind of the thought that I have here when it comes to a lot of these tech names, that even though they have good earnings and guide okay, they're just a lot of them are overvalued, and so there's going to be some investors trying to get out of it. The RSI is going to be on the daily chart. It is going to be for a 14-day period. Yes.
Fairchild said kind of an underwhelming trade day. Fairchild, it was like that for me as well. There was a lot of news here this morning. I guess if you're trading SMCI, today was anything but an underwhelming day. But just kind of watching that pass here, I didn't really have any setups I loved, honestly. I'm okay being patient. Now we'll see what happens with some of the earnings prints later today, right? Especially Kava. I know we just kind of talked about Kava. I'll see if we get a trade in that or in some other names here this week. And then, of course, Apple tomorrow after hours. That's going to be big.
And Repay Game Lab, let me also add that when I do look at RSI, I am using that same metric across different time frames as well. So I look at the RSI like on monthly charts, weekly as well. Lots of other time frames that the RSI gives me, some temporary indication of whether or not we're going to be going higher or lower.
Okay.
And is Thar going to recapture 5? It's been testing that level, getting close to the VWAP. Hasn't been able to recapture it yet, but I don't think we're quite done here yet, as long as we're above some of these EMAs. So let's see what we get here. We get that line that's going to take us over VWAP.
Crow, good morning. Good to see you, Crow. Where have you been, bro? Evie, okay. You're saying that this reverses today? Stay focused. Wants to take a look at Domino's Pizza.
Another one.
Stay focused is all about making money. If a resident New Yorker is asking about Domino's Pizza, I'll tell you that right now. All right, this is someone that's trading first. In that case, here, nice little sideways formation here. Stay focused.
I'm looking at the daily. I see the 50-day SMA, the price falling beneath it, and having not been able to recapture it for 4 days now. This is now on day number 5. Actually, the first green day that we've had in looks like 6 days. So recapturing that 50-day SMA is going to be a big deal. Now, I'm a little concerned about the price action we've had in September and October. It looks kind of double toppy, and it has been getting some support down in the 400 area. But I have a feeling that if the 50-day SMA does not get recaptured and hold above there, I think we're going to have another visit of 400, and we could end up falling through it. This does not look particularly good to me. We had a death cross back on the end of August. So those things, considering, I feel like there may be some more downside in this. How much, I don't know exactly. But I just don't like the way that the price action looks. I don't like the price being below that SMA. We do have the 500 coming up at 396 and 66 cents. So that could be one of the earliest support levels should we get that breakdown beneath 400. So not too much of a fall there. But I don't like the fact that we're not able to recapture the 50-day SMA yet.
Okay. Zunaid.
What
Hey, Zunaid.
I know we kind of 13 just really had to do the info dump there. We're a little bit over. What do you got for us?
We've got 3 shows back to back remaining. You've got my man Ben and Rhett coming on today from Story Trading, and then I'll be back on to trade some futures with Kevin, and then we've got Tech Tune-Up later on at 12 as well. So a lot of stuff happening. Any final thoughts from you two?
Good luck today. Have fun with the earnings tonight.
Hopefully no one had SMCI calls. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look, that auditor quit. That's bad news. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. Peace. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, folks.
Did I remove Zunaid by accident? That was a mistake.
I got you. All right. Let me go ahead and get on Ben. Brett, what's going on, fellas?
We are killing it, having a great day. Can't wait to go over everything with you.
Oh, yes.
I know. I'll be on for about just a couple of minutes because I do have some things to take care of. Let me go ahead and get my screen on real quick, and then I'll bring yours on. And let me actually change a couple of things here. There's that. Give me one moment. Cool. Let me go ahead and share my screen. This is the only trade that I took today, and it is on SMCI. It kind of popped up above VWAP here, and then when it came below VWAP, took short, stop loss was here. So far I've taken my gains, but I'm looking to kind of take this one lower. Do you have a way to play SMCI? Any thoughts on this one?
Sure. We've been playing it through TSSI. TSSI, we think, this has been a thesis for a long time. Is taking, yeah. Oh, yeah. TSSI. Here we go. So TSSI, show you the daily chart. We actually bailed on SMCI back around $700 or $800 pre-split because we heard that that TSSI was taking business from them. So it was down here around the 250 level that we made that swish. You can see TSSI up hit a high of $8 today. So that's really the thesis, that SMCI is working with Dell. There was that the Grok AI thing that Musk is doing with supposedly with Dell and SMCI. Turns out TSSI works with Dell, and together they've been able to take some business from SMCI. That's the overall big picture. And so we've avoided SMCI. I don't know about their accounting irregularities, but anytime there's a sniff of that, I stay away completely. And I think there was already some issue out there in the last couple of months. So I have not looked at SMCI at all. And I think TSSI up 6% today has something to do with that.
Yeah, it's just not great when you get a short report out, then you delay, I guess, an early earnings release or whatever they had delayed SMCI did. Then you hire an audit.
Yeah.
And then they say, nah, I'm good. It's like, all right, cool. That's not great news. But I'll leave it to you two. I'll be in the background in case anything goes wrong. Good luck, fellas.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
All right. What a day, Rhett. What a day. Godfather's not with us today. Oh,
Rhett, what just happened?
Wait a second. I see the screen. I see.
Oh, there we go. We're good.
Okay.
Sometimes just go full screen in case you're showing charts. You're good.
Oh, you can do that. Fine. Just want to make sure we're still there. You can do the full screen.
You're good. People can hear you.
So, all right. Today was an awesome day. It's been an awesome few days. Actually, let me just touch on Bitcoin first, because Bitcoin, we called this to the T when this thing was like $69,000 2 nights ago. Literally, like within 3 or 4 minutes of the big move up towards 74,000. I'm like, any day of this thing will make a move towards 74,000, and it'll happen over a span of a few hours. Do you remember that, Rhett?
Yep, I do.
That was crazy. So it took off literally within minutes after I said that. The thing was straight up for the next 18 hours up to close to 74,000. So we're nailing it with BITX yesterday. That was one of the top trades in our community yesterday, BITX. And the success continues today. To be honest with you, most of us are done trading in our community today. Snap was our highest conviction trade since last night. So we look at, we have a list of all the ER reports. Not all of them, but there's select ones that we look at. So Snap, Reddit, Google, we're all on our list to look at this morning or last night. And Snap had a beat, $500 million buyback. So we put a thesis out there. We did what we do best. We take the catalyst, we triangulate that, say, what's the impact of the catalyst on the sentiment? What's the impact of the catalyst on the fund to the technicals, and say, okay, the sentiment and fundamentals are either good or bad. So now let's look either up or down. So that's what we did. And we came up with a $12.70 price target on Snap last night on the pre-market show for our Discord members at 9 a.m. when this thing was down 11:35. We did not get dissuaded. In fact, we were doubling down. You bought it live on the show this morning at like 11. What did you buy it at? Like 1140 or something?
I got to go back and see, but somewhere around there, yeah. I made 8% on common shares.
Yeah, it was right during our show, right before this pop. It was around $11.40. And I'm like, I love that this is dropping, because I've not lost an ounce of conviction that we're going to hit 1260 to 1270 today. And I was all out of 1270. Rhett, how do you play it as well? You played some call options. Tell us how that worked out for you.
Yeah, we played some call options that we called out when we were live trading with our community this morning. And we called those out, the $12 call options that expired this Friday. And those ended up going over 120% today. So they crushed it. We also advised buying that one dip around. I think it was like 950 or 10 right there. Yep, that one. So we doubled down right there. And I mean, it paid off big.
So we crushed it on Snap. I was mostly common shares. I did join you on those options. Bought them at 33 cents, sold them at 66 cents. Just a few. Mostly I was doing common shares. So we're kind of done trading. We killed it on Snap today. Reddit, another one that was a top 5 pick last night into this morning. I didn't know about a price target. What I told you guys on Reddit last night was because we're an all-time new high, all-time high new all-time high territory, with a big short position, great fundamental report. So I'm like, this is just going to keep going up until it doesn't anymore, right? So like, ride this up until the trend line breaks. I bought some last night in my long-term account at like $99. It's now 116. Haven't sold any yet. Unfortunately, I didn't really play in my trade account. This morning, I took a quick little scalp in pre-market, but I was kind of focused on Snap, Google, and ASPI. We'll get to those in a second. So I didn't have a trade position on this, but we advised the community on it, and we're still saying doesn't look like it's time to sell. And I haven't sold the position I bought last night in my long-term account, up 15, 16%. So these were two of our top 5 picks today, Snap and Reddit. Any comments on that, Rhett?
No, I mean, you crushed that, Ben, especially with those price targets. I mean, it went right up to it with Snap and with Reddit. I mean, you just said keep trading it until it breaks. And I mean, that trade has worked out perfectly all day.
Yep. I wish I did do a trade on this as well in my trade account, not just a long-term account, but you can't be everywhere. So beautiful. By the way, I think you can continue buying the dips. I just took a little scalp in Snap from like 12.35 to about 12.45, but like I'm not really trading heavily anymore because we made our money today. My account's up nice today. But in any case, okay, that was Snap and Reddit. Google hasn't really worked out today, though. So let me just see, I'm down just a little bit on it, actually, even though I'm doing call options because I had some good execution. So I'm down maybe like $150, something very small. But Google, we put out there as a top 5 pick today with a potential price target of 191, just has not come to fruition. This was done based on a calculation of how much they beat on their EPS, their adjusted EPS. Triangulated that with their technicals, came up with that, yeah, we could target, we could challenge that all-time high at 191. Didn't happen, but based on how we risk manage and everything, hasn't been a big loser. It was positioned really small. Been trying to buy the dip, sell the rips here, but it is overall lost. This idea did not work out today, Google. All right.
Yep. And then another one was ASPI. I mean, you were trading that thing like a book today.
Oh my God. ASPI gave you the alert and the screenshot that I bought at $6.65 in the morning here at 7:20 a.m. on that news. Not only that, ASPI yesterday, we were trading ASPI yesterday, and we brought attention to this nuclear stock that, wait a second, ASPI is only just getting started, it looks like, right? We only just got to the previous highs, and if you compare that to the other nuclear names like Oklo and SMR, you see, we got to the previous highs and we had a big short squeeze above it. SMR got to the previous highs and had a big short squeeze above it. And yesterday I noted that maybe it's ASPI's turn to have that big short squeeze. Unfortunately, I didn't swing any. We day traded it yesterday, then got back in on the news this morning with this. This is the news of TerraPower, which is backed by Bill Gates. Want to do some nuclear work with ASPI. Market cap only 500 million compared to Oklo and SMR, which are in the multi-billions. So we've just played this like a fiddle today, buying the dips, that first dip here. And I put in the Discord this morning, the buy the dip program is on. Buy the dip. I'm currently out of a position on ASPI. Maybe I'll try it again, but I'm already up nicely today. So maybe I'll just watch it. We'll see. So ASPI working out pretty well. Guys, we got extra time today because Godfather isn't on. So we have more time to go through your comments and talk about any stock you want. So go ahead. You can put in any stock, any updates you want. We could talk about that. Another
you want to talk about HIMS, Ben?
Yeah. I bought HIMS today, didn't I? Forgot about that. Let me just throw, what I'll do is throw HIMS at the top of the list and we'll come back to it in a second. Okay, so we'll talk about HIMS. VKTX, another one this morning that this morning, due to the Lilly miss, we said there could be a buying opportunity in VKTX. Wow, Lilly really came back too, actually. But in any case, we said we could have a sympathy down move on VKTX, another GLP-1 stock. Where'd it go? Where's my VKTX? Here we go. And there's a core long-term position. I did not personally get into a trade position, but in the pre-market show, I said right here, good spot to add some, leave some room to buy if it hits the 20 DMA. Didn't hit the 20 DMA right there at around the 67 or so. But the pre-market ad that we talked about in the pre-market work, good spot to add because they have data coming out this weekend, oral data on their GLP-1. You can see this exploded last week on ER with some nuggets they gave us on the data coming out this weekend at Obesity Week. So people are expecting good data to come out this morning. Would have been beautiful to be able to pick it up at 20 DMA. But either way, I know at least one person in our community did pick it up on our advice here on the pre-market buying opportunity on VKTX. I'll get to him still. Just want to mention a couple other things on our show this morning. Hood this morning. We did some live trading, actually. Usually we get off the air before 9:30 a.m., but we decided to stay on with the community, did some live trading. And when Hood was down, or was it the pre-market when it was down? I think it was a pre-market. We were down about 0.5%. I'm like, Hood will be up a couple percent today at some point. Low-hanging fruit. I think it was about 1.5% at 28.58, simply on event anticipation into ER. There's too much good sentiment around this. There's going to be too many people who are going to be buying into the report this afternoon. Having a dip right now, wouldn't be surprised if it moves again this afternoon and makes a move back towards the high this afternoon because of that really positive sentiment and the FOMO. People don't want to miss this earnings report. So Hood was in play this morning as a top 5 pick. ENVX had some really good news, but the price action was not great last night. So I've avoided getting back into this one because it really sold off after that price action. Been very choppy, but something we're watching after they signed a deal with a leading smartphone OEM manufacturer in China, top 5 manufacturer to make their batteries, their new better technology batteries, apparently, in 2025. So that's something on our radar. I haven't really played it, though, today. All right. I'm sure I do want to get into TSSI. A lot to talk about there, but let's talk about HIMS. So HIMS has earnings coming up next week. I believe the date is November 4th, which is what day of the week is November 4th? Is that Monday, Tuesday? Check for me. Anyway. Okay.
Falls on Monday.
Monday. All right. Wow. What do you type to ChatGPT something? Like what day of the week is November 4th?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just pulled up my calendar app too. So anyway, earnings on Monday. Look, HIMS, I have a long-term position in. I think the market has been way too oversensitive to anything having to do with GLP-1s on this. You can see this, everything from here on has been related to GLP-1s. All right. GLP-1 launched, competitors, then the FDA saying it's no longer in shortage, then competitors saying, let's try to stop the compounding that's going on, and then report that it's in shortage again. I mean, all of this wild volatility has to do with GLP-1s, but this thing has been nailing it. Even before GLP-1s, I thought the stock was worth in the 20s, in the 20 to 25 range, even without GLP-1s. They beat and raise every single quarter, slow and steady growth across all their segments, not just GLP-1. And I find any opportunities, again, it was yesterday, I believe, so we're seeing this 2-day sell-off now. Yesterday, I think it was Novo Nordisk that was saying we're going to try to crack down on compounding. So we're seeing the sell-off ahead of earnings. So I just bought some call options today for the earnings report. I forgot which one it was. We did it live on our show in our Discord. So it's something I'm continuing to watch. You know what? I wouldn't mind if it moved down to 18. I'll get more call options into the report. I'm quite confident they're going to beat and raise again coming up. Was that your question, or someone in the community had a question on the chat?
Oh, I was just bringing it up.
Oh, okay.
Not just because of all that. Someone put RTX in there.
Raytheon. Okay, I haven't looked at Raytheon. I know Lockheed Martin's been down like crazy since their earnings report. Let's see.
Then if you look at the daily, check that out.
I don't know if there was news on RTX. Okay, it's touching the 50 DMA. Maybe that's a buying opportunity. Raytheon secures a $118 million contract. I wonder if this is being weighed down because LMT has been getting sucked. Oh my God. Wow. It's still going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. I actually own some Lockheed Martin on my long-term account, but I've been thinking about, look, it might be time soon to get some trade, maybe some options in a trade account a couple months out or something, because we have two catalysts that are positive for the entire sector coming up soon. All right. One catalyst is if Trump wins, and betting markets have him winning right now. Let me just double check what we're at with the betting. I haven't seen the new polls today. Let's see what the betting market's doing. 67%, basically at a new high. So defense, like Republicans, good for defense, generally speaking. And then we have the Israel-Iran situation, which I don't know. Like, I could be wrong about this, but I feel like things have been a little bit muted more than they otherwise would have been because the election's coming up. It sounds like the Biden administration convinced Israel to take things easy until the election's over. That's what it sounds like based on different commentary I'm seeing coming out of elected officials on both sides, in Israel and the United States. So maybe you can have two catalysts that are going to be positive for defense stocks after the election, right? If Trump wins, and then maybe a re-escalation with Iran or the Mideast. However, I got to say, based on what I'm seeing, I don't know if it's true, but some reports coming out that Iran is defenseless now, that Israel took out all of their radar systems and anti-aircraft systems.
Really?
Completely defenseless. That's what I've been hearing. Yeah, that strike they did was much more massive than anyone's talking about, and Iran doesn't want to admit it and stuff like that. So if that's the case, maybe there's not going to be further escalation because maybe Iran can't escalate. Maybe they're not in a position to escalate anymore, and maybe things are done with. I don't know. But, definitely I think long-term there's probably an opportunity here in the defense sector, whether it's Lockheed Martin or RTX here at the 50 DMA. But neither of these seem appealing to me as like a day trade or a swing trade over the next few days. All right, so let's see what else we got going on here. We talked about Reddit just killing it. Snap, Google didn't really work out today. Aspi we're out of, but we'll see if we have a spike down or something. Maybe I'll get back in. VKTX, wow. I wish I did add some trading shares. I got a nice chunk in my long-term account heading into obesity data this week. I don't think this is going to be over. This is now Wednesday. We have 2 days of hype. In fact, after I finish the show with you guys, I might put on a trade to get some VKTX, at least for the event anticipation, right? There could always be a sell the news on Monday, even if the data is good. But what's the low-hanging fruit is the event anticipation. Seeing this thing move up into Friday afternoon is almost a guarantee, okay? So VKTX, after I finish the show with you guys, let me throw it up the top of my list. I think I might establish some sort of trade position in it as a swing over the next couple of days. Beautiful. All right. Let's see what else we got. Reddit keeps killing it, still staying in my position. All right. Google, ASPI. Let's talk about TSSI a little bit. Wow. Did we ever kill TSSI? We put a trade position on this twice. Okay. What do we do here? This is beautiful. Actually, I'm trying to find the earnings report in here.
And it was 250 and 275 is when we got in.
What was the date? August 15th, I think. Okay.
Yeah, right around there. I think
it was a couple days before. We were already in TSSI. Our community was in it at 250 before the report. Right after the report came out, when the thing opened to 270, we put a target. We said $5 target, and then we're going to consolidate, and then we're going to move to 725. Okay. True story. Right? It's just amazing how accurate it was. Unbelievably accurate. We went right up to 5. We consolidated. Second leg up to 725. We put an alert out. Sell at 725. All right. Around your trading position. I kept my core. Sold at 725. We pulled back. And then when did we put the trade back on again? October 21st. October 21st. What's that?
Yeah, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, October 21st, we reinitiated the trade idea on it. We said this imminently is going to break because they're presenting at LD Micro next week, which is today, all right? And then 2 days later, they came out and they said, we're doing a massive expansion, and we got a new 5-year contract with what sounds like it's Dell, okay? And boom, here we are. We gave you a price target of $8 to $10. on that. And here we are at near the bottom of that target at $8. And that 8 to 10 target is my target for how high this can go before the next earnings report, which is in a couple weeks. So potentially another 25% move in store on TSSI over the next couple of weeks. This is my biggest position overall. It's about 25% of all my trading assets, long-term trading account, everything. I'm up multiple 6 digits on it. Aiming for this to be my second 7-figure win in my career. The first one was Air. So let's see if TSSI, if they continue executing, can be a $25 stock in a couple of quarters. We're at 788 here, and I'm positioned to make 7 figures if we get into the 20s. So that is very exciting. And I'm very pumped to see this and looking forward to what happens in the next 2 days as that LD micro conference going on today and tomorrow, when we can have a further move into Friday and Monday ahead of the earnings report mid-November. So very exciting AI company working with Dell to get all these racks installed and serviced for these AI processors at all these big companies that are getting into AI. So very good stuff. Exciting AI stock over there in TSSI. Catan says VKTX looks good about now. Yeah, I agree. As far as a trade position, how do I want to trade that? You know what? For now, just because, let me just buy some common shares for now. I should have done it this morning, like on the pre-market show. Should have done it because I told you guys to do it, but it was hard for me to be everywhere. I give you like good about five ideas on the show pre-market, and then you can choose what you want to focus on. It's definitely hard to do all 5. So in any case, VKTX looking good. I think very high chance, and I think you can definitely see the stock move towards 81 in the next 2 days. I would not be surprised to see this challenge the recent high before the data comes out this weekend, Friday afternoon. Look for a possibility of $81 in VKTX. Price target still around 100. Catan says, yeah, my price target's in the closer to the 150 range for a buyout. And Reddit keeps on going. Google making a comeback. Maybe we can end the day green on that. We'll see if we get lucky on that. It's the only thing that hasn't worked out today. A couple other things. Oh, I'm up on a couple low conviction stuff because they're not my ideas. Okay. BPMC and LXEO. These I borrowed from Farmdika. I do small size when it's not my own ideas. Generally, I don't make money when I play other people's ideas because I don't have the conviction to play it correctly. So in any case, got some small positions in these 2 biotechs. Each had some good news this morning. BPMC, LXEO. All right, what else we got going on?
That was pretty much it.
All right.
Another one is SoFi too. It looks like it's consolidated a lot right here.
Yeah, another leg down for HIMS. Let me just see here. This is actually beautiful because at this point, I think we could hit 18. We could hit this 50 DMA maybe by tomorrow. So I'm going to keep a close eye on HIMS because I do want to pick up more HIMS on this dip ahead of earnings. That's going to be great. Down 13% today. Any specific news, or is it just a follow through on Novo Nordisk yesterday? See, Ozempic and Wegovy maker Novo Nordisk asked FDA to halt production of compounded fat loss drugs due to their inherent complexity. Okay, that's what it's, I think, moving down on here on day 2. It's really moving down now. Wow, 1896. Okay, it's 1126. So as soon as the show's over, I might go in here and, in fact, I'll do it right now. I'm going to average into this drop. Okay, I'm going to average into this drop. Oh, beautiful. Get a nice discount here. Let's hit the buy order. Let's see what I got it at. This is the call options, $20.50 for next week after the report. $20.50. Got in $1.50 here. Break even's up at $22, but I'll probably have an opportunity to sell for a profit even before they report on Monday. VKTX, booking it. Nice. Insufficient sample volume on Novo, multiple compliance issues. Novo Nordisk boost hair growth. Okay. So why don't you, Rhett, tell folks how they can join our community?
Yeah, so we can they can join the community by heading over to storytrading.com/discord. I'll put it in the chat right here. Join the chat.
So storytrading.com/discord. We've been doing a lot of discounts lately, but I think we got to do away with them soon. Any last, discounts before we start raising the prices, because we're killing it lately.
Oh yeah, so they can use the code profits still for $9.99 for the first month. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut that off soon, man. $9.99 too cheap, but I guess it's still up. So code profits. That's at storytrading.com/discord. We have our pre-market show every morning from 9 to about 9:20 a.m. every single morning. Chat room, all throughout the night and the weekends. A lot of people busy on there. Godfathers in our community as well. Look at Snap with that. I didn't have a chance to buy this last dip. Breaking out of that 1 minute moving average. Snap is still looking nice. By the way, if Snap it closes above 1270. I wouldn't. Even the 200 DMA. If we close above the 200 DMA here, this could make a move towards $14 into this gap right here. You see the bottom of this gap right there, $14. So yeah, it's today's Wednesday. If we close above 1260, 1270 there, we could see 14 by Friday. So something to keep in mind as Reddit continues to short squeeze. Wow, unbelievable. So a lot of good things. Exciting stuff. Google's coming back up. I think I might be on the green at this point. That's a big candle on Google. How's the market doing? IWM is up on the maybe rates dropping a little bit with TLT. XBI killing it. Maybe that's why a lot of our stocks are working. Biotech's working today, even though QQQ has really come back. Look at that. So a bad day on QQQ and SPY turning out to be a break-even day. And our stocks in particular really killing it. Thank you, Katan. Katan says good segment. Appreciate you. Let's see you in our community over at storytrading.com/discord.
Nova Nordics boost hair growth. I tried the Hims, as you guys see, didn't work out.
Oh, for hair growth?
Yeah, for hair growth. That stuff just made my hair fall out even more. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think I got a good fill on those Hims contracts here. I think I got it right at that dip here. Let's see.
Yeah, market's still around
150. Nice. Yeah, I got those at 150. We're now at 170 at the midpoint. All right. Right. That means Zunaid, we don't hear you. Remember yourself.
Oh, there you go. Mic check. My check 1.
Yep, all good now.
You got calls for next week, you said? Because they report earnings? They report earnings? Is that what it is?
Hims reports Monday. Yeah, I got next week's calls.
Gotcha. All right, man.
Yeah, but hopefully, in trades like this, I like to play the event anticipation. Hopefully, I'll be able to sell like half of it for profit before Monday, and then I'll hold the rest. If I'm able to do that, hold the rest for the report after that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you holding it down. I know you put the link in the chat for folks to go and join y'all. So appreciate you, Ben, Rhett. We'll see y'all next Wednesday.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
All right, chat. We're going to go ahead and talk about some futures trading now. We'll go ahead and talk about Apex and how they can go ahead and help you out here as well. Let me go ahead and bring my man Kevin up. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready, Kevin. All right. Perfect. Let me go ahead and put my charts up, switch some things around here. Where'd it go? And we'll go with that one there. Cool. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Zunaid? Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Man, I appreciate you for joining me. And I know you've got some, different trade ideas and things like that. But let me go ahead and quickly talk about what Apex is and how it all works. So Apex, we need to switch out their logo here in a minute. But Apex is an eval funding company. So pretty much you can go ahead at the moment. You have 80% off of their evals. Would love for you to show support to the show. You can use a promo code FEVER. But pretty much you can get a $50,000 eval, which means if you get profits on that eval that are $3,000 or more, there's a trailing drawdown of $2,500. You can get what's called a funded account, where you can then go ahead and trade with that account itself. The way to kind of see it is that the funded account, even though it's a $50,000 account, it's not like you're getting $50,000. I like to look at it as your drawdown is $2,500, and that's what you have pretty much. It costs about maybe $40 with the sale right now to get the eval. Then it costs about maybe $100 to get the funded account if you pass it. And then you're looking at about a total of like $150 or so. Of course, they have different rules because you don't want to YOLO everything, but some exciting stuff there. So check them out. I'll put the link in the chat. Again, we'd love for you guys to use promo code Fever. But that's what I personally use, Apex, for my futures trading. I pay for it my own money. Don't get any free accounts or anything like that. But that's what you've got in terms of Apex. Let's go ahead and talk about futures, man. If you want to share your screen, I can go ahead and load it up here as well and see what you're rocking with today.
Present and share screen. Sorry about that.
Nope, no worries, bro.
Get that up. Did you go over how Apex updated and came up with a lot of new updates to their PA trading rules?
I know they had quite a few, but if you have any couple of ones that you want to highlight, you're welcome to just quickly spit them out.
Yeah, do you mind? This is the Discord for Apex. Now, they're running a few new rules. No more DCA rule. That was a big one that a lot of people were complaining about. That's the dollar cost average. So if you're in a trade, it's running against you. You add a contract, so then it brings it to its dollar cost averaging it down for you. They were really against that. A lot of people would just go heavier and heavier, dollar cost average down. Now they're okay with that. No bracket breakout restrictions. There was another one that was really important. So here we go. These are the best ones, right? So there's no more payout window. It used to be a payout window from the 1st to the 5th and the 15th to the 20th. And you needed to trade, I believe it was 10 trading days before hitting that payout window to request a payout. Now there's no more payout window. You could request as soon as you hit 8 trading days, and you only need 5 of those days with 50 plus in profits, which obviously wouldn't be enough to get a payout anyways, but they're just sort of seeing that, you're consistently trading. No more flipping rule, 100% withdrawal after the 6th payout. So usually they used to have it, I think it was 3 or 4 months. You were capped to just, I think it was $2,000 for a 50K account. Now, after your 6th payout, which there is no more payout window, so you could get there a lot quicker, you could then withdraw your full amount of profits. There is a lot more to go over as well. They are a bit harder on their 30% consistency rule, even harder with 30% consistency on what you're losing. So definitely no more full porting when you get a funded account. Trade it as if it's your own money, your own capital. If you have a 50K account, usually we only want to risk 1 to 2% of our account size. But when we're trading something like Apex, we're given a trail down, a trail stop, right? So we don't really have 50K to trade with. We really only have about 2,500. So maybe risk 100, risk 150, keep that account alive, and look for good 2-to-1 risks to rewards and higher.
All right, appreciate the insights there. Yeah, I might have to go get an account right now again because I'm trying to get to 20. How many do you? I know you used to trade with Apex. Do you still have accounts there?
I don't have any accounts with Apex at the moment. It's funny. I was thinking of opening up another few and copy account. I was trading the 150K account for a while because the 50Ks. I don't want to say we're easy. They're not easy, but they're definitely easier than 150K because the trail stop is 2,500 and the target is 3,000. Whereas the 150K, the trail stop is, I believe, 5,000 and the target is 9,000. So your risk to reward on that is really skewed.
Well, I am going to go ahead and get one right now. Give me 1 sec. I just want to make sure my credit card.
Yeah, use that code. What code we have up in here? Fever, code Bullish Bears, whatever code you guys want to plug in there to get those savings going. And like Zunaid said, they have on sale right now, I believe, the PA, lifetime PA is on sale for $85 right now.
Yep.
And I believe that sale ends the 31st, which is tomorrow.
And I just went ahead and bought it. So if you guys want to join me, I'm probably sharing my confirmation code and things like that. I probably shouldn't. But anyway, here's it is. I just did it literally right now. You can see the time right there, October 30th, 11:36 a.m. So cool. All right, man, I'm going to share your charts. And if we have a trade, shoot, I'll take it on this account. So let me know what you're rocking with.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. It's funny. We had a really clean setup I had on NASDAQ over here before. This was like 15 minutes before we came on the live. Throw it in replay, and I'll show you exactly why I wanted that fair value gap instead of this one or instead of this one. Now, the first thing I noticed was we started coming down pretty strong into this first fair value gap. Now, we can't replay mode per second, but at this point, when this candle was forming into this fair value gap, a lot of people might have been assuming, let me go long, let me put my stop loss below the fair value gap. And what happened? They instantly got stopped out because they were unaware that maybe there was another imbalance right underneath us. A lot of times, if we have a fair value gap or an imbalance below another, we'll run through that first one to grab liquidity before reversing off the second one. So now that we ended up pulling back before hitting that zone at first. So that gave me a bit of confidence, because at that point, we were creating a little bit of a sell side liquidity. Now, I see sell side liquidity as any pivot low that people might want to take a breakout trade at, right? So people might see this low and say, well, if we break this low, we're going to continue lower, right? Unknown to them that we have a key level here at 20,624. We have an imbalance right below that. And we did also have our Fibonacci, which gives our optimal trade entry lining up at that 61% in the Fibonacci, in the imbalance underneath us. So I sort of let that play out. We broke right through that zone and instantly reversed as soon as we ticked this lower one. So once I get a trade set up like that, because we broke the one above us, and it's hard to get an entry because we don't know if we're going to break the one below us as well, we're much better off waiting for us to close so we could have that confirmation. Once I get this close back above this upper imbalance, that's when I look to place my trade back at the start of the imbalance with my stop loss at the low. Right now, you can keep it at the low of this first imbalance, or you could put it at the low of the wick, whichever one you want to keep more safe. And then you would sort of let it play out, could target either the next pivot high, target VWAP, wherever we are looking to target. But market is still moving now. So, we might get a retest of that zone. We might get something, right? This is where we are right now. We are still sort of in the middle of nowhere. So we haven't hit that take profit just yet, but we also haven't really stopped out of this trade. So if I was in this trade, I would still be in it. Or if we retest this fair value gap one more time, then I would look to re-enter this trade. So this is something I'm going to keep an eye on during our live stream today.
Okay, so the trade is kind of currently working out, but sorry, where would your re-entry be, or where would your entry be?
Yeah,
so
my first entry would have been once we had this 5-minute close back above this imbalance.
Okay.
So because we wicked it, a lot of people who are new to trading, a lot of retail traders, however you want to call it, they'll see an imbalance, they'll figure out how to find a fair value gap, and they'll try to go long on everyone, try to go short on everyone. Sometimes most of the time, we're much better off letting the candlestick and the price action develop and show us, is price really holding it, or are we going to continue lower? So once it showed me the proof that we swept this liquidity, we hit this imbalance, we reversed back higher. Now I was using the book map and footprint chart with this as well, and a lot of buy orders were coming into the market to then furthermore give me confirmation on this trade. So then I would look to enter, and I'll zoom in a bit too. I would then look to enter at the test of this imbalance, the upper one that we originally broke. And then I would look for, again, like I said, I'd probably look for this next pivot high up here around 20,699, which is also very close to key psychological level 20,700.
All right. Seems like at the moment I'm taking a look at just a couple of here. Let me go ahead and share my charts here.
So look right here. We have this was where the candle closed on the 5-minute. We're looking at the 1-minute chart right now. And what happened was we pushed higher. We got a retest of that imbalance. So this would have been our entry, right? So this would have been our breakaway, our retest for an entry, stop loss at that recent low. And again, we would target that next pivot high.
Which would be, what was the level on that pivot high?
It's going to be around 20,699, but 20,700 even is a key psychological level. Any number that ends in 100, 200, 250, key psychological levels, right? They hold a lot of psychological value to it because even institutional traders are aware of those levels.
And are you going to, like, are you taking, so would you have, obviously it looks like, it hasn't quite gotten to that point. Are you moving your stops up, or would you just kind of leave it be and just let it hit your targets, or what?
So this one I would have, it's funny, I actually ended up scalping this on this candle. I got out like over here. I could have let it play out, but I was getting ready to come on the stream, so I didn't want to be in anything.
Right.
But scalped it out. Again, I saw the buying pressure on the order, on the book map and the footprint. When it comes to moving my stop losses, I'm going to show you ES as a better example, because ES this morning gave us a really nice demand zone trade. So we see this 45 minute. I'm going to go to the replay system. We're going to replay every chart we have here. So right now we have a 45 minute. I'm going to show you how I find my zones real quick too. So we have a 45-minute demand zone that we created yesterday in the morning, right? So yesterday in the morning, Tuesday at 9 o'clock, the market on ES pushed higher from this 58.50, right? From this 58.40. So this is a zone where buyers are active. So I was looking for longs, and I did end up taking a quick scalp on that live in the Twitch stream that is at Kevin Futures. Now, at this point, I would be looking for the 5 minute, right? So I'd be looking for the 5 minute. We would take a trade. We would be in it. Now, once I saw a strong close like this, once I'm in a trade in demand, right? If we look at the 1 minute, we based out. We found support. We had good selling pressure coming into the zone, which we want to see good volume when we come into a zone, because that's almost, think of it like institutions starting to position themselves, right? They're not going to hit buy at one level and buy $1 billion worth. They're going to slowly work their way into the market. So because of that, we also have to do the same and sort of follow their trail. So when you're in a strong trade like this, you get a break and you get a good close on the 5 minute. You could then maybe move your take profit. You can move your stop loss to the demand zone, because what we're seeing now with the price action is a good closure, right? And when we get good price action reversals and closures above previous highs, that gives us confidence that there might be a lot of trapped sellers. Something I was also looking at was the 30-minute time frame, which was giving us a very long lower wick, again, signaling that there are a lot of trapped sellers. And I also saw on the NASDAQ on this right chart, we had a 1 hour imbalance. So not only was the ES holding a demand zone, the NASDAQ was also holding an imbalance. So both the NASDAQ and ES were near areas of support, furthermore giving me better execution, better confidence to take this trade.
All right, and then let me go ahead and try to see if there's some other levels that we can take a look at here on the ES.
For sure, for sure. I mean, this was a nice trade. We took this around 58.49.75 this morning. Got out for about, I think it was just a 9-point move. But when trading supply and demand, what it does is it sort of gives us an idea of the range. So if we're able to get a really nice demand entry, a lot of times we are able to then target a supply or vice versa.
Yeah, I'm curious. So here's what I've got on the ES, similar to what you showed on your chart, just a little different in terms of maybe time frames, but you have resistance that we've kind of continuously there we go, seen since, you know, the 4 a.m.s, trying to get above it. We'll see if it actually can or not. And then on the NQ, you can kind of see how you have the red dotted line is the previous close, and you have support, flush, resistance. Now we'll see if it's able to get above this or not. But that's kind of what we've got. So let me kind of draw this out here. So there you go. You can kind of see how you had support, crack, tested resistance, couldn't do it. You saw the flush, and then I will see if it's able to go ahead and get over that, because at the moment it's red, barely, right? The NQ is down by maybe 18 points, it looks like. And then we'll see if it's able to kind of go red to green.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's a great, really great support level you have there. And you see how it's right at that 20,700 I was mentioning before?
Yeah.
Amazing. It's crazy how these levels will line up with other levels that we're trying to mark out. I do see that level, and that level actually does line up as well with the previous day high. Now, previous day high and low, in my opinion, is it previous day high? No, I'm sorry. That was 2 days ago. I forgot to adjust my previous day high. My apologies on that. But that was 2 days ago, previous day high, right? So we're always trying to find previous day high, previous day low. Give me an idea. Are we in a range? Should we expect continuation, expansion, or, like I said, range? You know, when we're between a previous day high and low, a lot of times we want to look for chop, we want to look for pullbacks, and we want to look for a breakout, but we can't trade anticipating a breakout.
You got to wait. Are you a fan of waiting for like the retest?
Yeah, absolutely. And with supply and demand, it gives me those retests, right? It doesn't, I can mark them out, right? Here's a 15-minute demand zone right here. I see that because of the long lower wick, a red basing candle, and then we had a whole lot of green after it with continuation. So that tells me this imbalance right here, there's still unfilled orders. So the next time the NASDAQ comes into this demand zone, I'm going to look for NASDAQ longs. I'm going to look for buying pressure. or whichever, however I'm looking, right? I'm going to look, maybe we want to create a low. Something I like to look for is, let's say we sell all the way back down here. I'll change the color of it so we can see it. I know that it's gray. And we create some type of low right above the demand zone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we create that low right above a demand zone, then again comes the thought of, okay, well, now a lot of retail traders see this low and say, I want to take this breakout lower. And what happens to breakout traders? They get faked out. So using these lows, using liquidity levels, and this might work as this previous day low right down here around 20,542. So again, knowing that previous day low is right here, and we have a demand zone pretty close below it, I know the anticipation of sellers once we break that previous day low might be overwhelmed by the buyers, the imbalance, and they might be wrong, right? A lot of times the market has to look good to one direction before it could pop to the other. Best time to buy is when others are selling. Best time to sell is when others are buying.
And then when you have, so you're looking for, and this is live, right? Or is it still in replay mode?
This is live right now, yes.
Okay. So you're kind of like anticipating different levels that we may be able to kind of take some action on. Now, when you, Walter, who, has been with us for quite some time, loves to trade futures, really good at it as well. Seen him mention this a couple of times, but he's talking about how taking out the London high. My question is more so around, you have like the New York session, the London session, and all these different sessions, because obviously ES trades for almost around the clock. Do you pay attention to like, oh, these were the London session highs, or, I want to trade this opening, that opening, or is it more so of just sticking to the US for you?
There was a time when I was looking for London high, New York high, Tokyo high, whatever it might be. But in all reality, as long as I'm finding a major pivot, it doesn't really matter to me which high it is, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work, right? Now, every strategy in a way works. There's a reason moving averages are around for hundreds of years, Fibonacci, all these tools, RSI, MACD, but that doesn't mean they work for you, but that just means they work in general.
Yeah.
So with that being said, right, Katana had a good point. We usually trade commodities then, but like with session ranges, what's great with TradingView is it has the indicator. You could put in the sessions Lux algo and it'll mark out those highs and lows and box it off for you. So it is very helpful. But again, me personally, I'm not really looking for those session highs and lows. I'm really looking for previous day high and low and any other pivots that might be in between. Yeah. So if I was looking at hourly.
Real quick, sorry, go back to what you were just looking at minute wise. I want to point something out. And again, this might be a coincidence. Who really knows? But I think it was, okay, we can take a look at this. So it looks like you've got what? Sydney there in Tokyo, possibly? Yep. Markets on Wednesday. So you see how their low is resistance for New York high. Or I don't, can I call it New York high? I think I can. I don't know. But what I'm saying is you can see how, you have the low for Tokyo there. Yep, right there, right at that level. It goes back to that 2,700 that we've been talking about. I didn't realize that was, part of the low session on that sense for Tokyo, but that's interesting. Again, no idea if it's coincidental or what, but just something interesting that I saw on your charts there.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And you know what? It might be coincidence in the sense that, and it might not be coincidence in the sense that we had a range in Sydney, we broke out of that range, and we retested it, right? However, if we just look back a little more, we are still, if we look at New York's previous range, it's all the way down here. So we pulled back and we still started to make a higher low.
Yeah.
So even though we did break out of this range to the downside and retested it, it doesn't exactly mean, okay, we're definitely going to go lower, because we still have to remember, how has the market been moving in the whole? Have we been making higher highs? Have we been making higher lows? Or have we been range bound? I'm going to get rid of our sessions indicator to clean it up a little bit. But yeah, no, that's a great point. The sessions are fantastic to be aware of. The other thing to remember, though, is that we don't really have much real volume when it comes to pre-market sessions. So when it comes to 9:30 to 4 o'clock, the New York Stock Exchange, we have plenty of volume. We have real activity. If I'm looking to trade equities, if I'm looking to trade, Apple, Microsoft, or options, when I'm charting something like the Microsoft, I like to start with the 30-minute or the 15-minute, and I turn my extended hours off. And the reason I turn my extended hours off is there's no real volume pushing or moving Microsoft when the market is closed, right? We only have volume when the market is open. So I want to be aware of how price was reacting to these levels when market was open with volume.
Yeah, and then something I also want to mention, let me go ahead and take a look at something here.
Yeah.
Is that we now, just as we were kind of talking, right? This is, again, what I just purchased today on the eval, and I took a trade. And,
nice. Look at you. You got that one passed.
We just got that one passed. It was easy as that. Let me actually kind of show you guys where the executions were. So you had, I purchased it because it did go ahead and go above VWAP. You are making higher highs. So this is, again, would I have possibly taken 10 contracts? This is just a reality of funded versus eval account. Would I have taken 10 contracts in something of a setup like this? No, but I paid $35 for an eval. I am comfortable with the way that I'm handling this. Went ahead and purchased 10 contracts at 26.69. Sold all 10 of them. Excuse me, I purchased 10. I sold all 10 of them at 26.85. And then we went ahead and eval profited, not real profits. Don't want to mislead anybody. We just went ahead and passed this. So let me actually see. I think tomorrow, I don't think it's instant, but I think now when the system updates overnight, it'll go ahead and tell me, all right, cool, this one you passed. Then I just pay $100 or whatever the fee is. And I have now tomorrow a funded account that I can trade with, right? And the way that the funded account works is what I like to tell people is that it's not a real money account, but it's not a fake money account either. So it's kind of right in between. So now tomorrow, if I pay $100, now I've paid $135 total, let's just say, I now will have a funded account that has a drawdown of $2,500. You saw Kevin go over the rules earlier, so make sure you go ahead and follow those as well. And then I can just trade, and whatever money I make, I'm able to go ahead and pull it out and take a cash out. Again, following the rules that they have for those as well. And it's as simple as that. Now I have myself at least one funded account, and we're ready to rock.
That's awesome, man. Good job.
Yes, sir. All right, we got about 6 minutes, and then we've got my man Tech Tune Up with Paul Meeks. What else you got here? Any other levels that we should be paying attention to on any other futures, whether it's platinum, whether it's oil, ES, whatever you want to talk about, man.
Let's run through oil real quick, right? Because oil had a massive move when we opened up on that Sunday at 6 p.m. We had a crazy gap down on oil from what's that? About 71.78 all the way to about 69 even, right? Now I had a pretty strong key level around 69.27, and I also had a demand zone, right? So almost like you mentioned before, we had support. Now, this support, we gapped below it. So I would look for the support to now work as resistance, just like you marked out on the support and resistance before.
Mm-hmm.
So we would look for sellers to step in maybe around the 69.50, 69.80 area. Really look to see if we could start to sweep back lower. The one thing I do want to mention is we are holding this demand zone here. We are making higher lows again. We're breaking this level of resistance. And now we're using that level of resistance as support. You see that right there?
Yep.
Now, this was a trade I took on crude this morning, too. I ended up getting out, like I said, I got out a little early. I think I got out over here. This was the initial target. Got out about over here. This was also live on the Twitch. Now, the reason I wanted to get long, and looking at the chart right there, there's really no reason, right? You look at the chart, it's very choppy. It's not really giving me a reason to take this long, if it'll load. The reason I took this long is because I did some time frame analysis. Now, it's very important to have our strategies, have our concepts, but time frame analysis is important so that we're looking at the bigger picture. So when I looked at the 15 and the 30 minute, I saw on the 30 minute, we had a basing candle right here. After this basing candle formed, we had a move to the upside, which then would give me the confidence to say, let's look for some continuation, right? We've been making higher lows. We just broke this higher high over here. We're uptrending in crude. This is giving me confidence. Let me take this along. Stop loss is below that 30 minute because if I'm looking for a 30 minute to continue, I'm going to want it to not break that low, right? We should continuously make a higher low with that. So I took that trade and it did play out pretty well.
All right, man.
Chopped around for a bit, but it played out well. It was a nice trade.
What hours do you typically like to trade yourself? Like, is it kind of like the morning session for you from like, I don't know, call it 9:30 to 11-ish? Or like, what do you typically like to trade?
That's exactly it. 9:30 to 11. Sometimes I'll get on a bit earlier, maybe 8:30 if we have like PPI or CPI or something. but usually 9:30 to 11 is my trading hours. I'll get on usually around 9 to mark out my zones, mark out some levels, and create a pre-market plan. You know, as traders, we shouldn't go into the market every day blind. We should go over what did the previous day do? Have we been uptrending? What's the higher time frame doing? And where are my zones and levels before we get to those zones and levels, so we're prepared and we aren't feeling the anxiousness that we have to take a trade right now.
Yeah. And then how many trades do you typically take? Like on a day? Is it kind of like, okay, let me ask a better question. Do you have a system where it's like, hey, if I go ahead and lose 3 trades in a row, I'm done for the day, or 2 trades, or a set amount of dollars? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you kind of mentally, because I know you coach other people as well. I went in and posted your Twitch chat earlier. If you have any other links, we can post that as well. But when do you typically, or what's your strategy in terms of mentally being like, all right, I lost this, I'm done for the day?
Dude, fantastic question. This is something I'm always talking about, and I'm glad you reworded it, because that's perfect too. It's not so much how many trades do you take, but what's your system look like, right?
Yeah.
So I'm maxed cutoff 3 trades, three whether winners or losers, right?
Oh, okay.
If I have 2 trades in a row that are losers, my 3rd trade I take, it has to be an A+ setup, and I'm going lighter in size on it. Okay, so I'm always, usually the 2nd trade I'll go later on size 2, and that's really just managing risk management and understanding that, you know, if you'll feel more pain from it being a loser than it being a winner, then you really need to just, you know, take a minute, sit back, readjust and reanalyze what you're doing, right? You shouldn't be taking one trade that blows your account or makes your account.
Yeah.
Every day we should be looking for the same opportunities, even though the market doesn't give us the same price action, right? We look for a good 2-to-1, a 3-to-1. A lot of times I'll go for maybe like a 4 or 5-to-1. Those are really great, but only when we're given a good opportunity for that.
All right. Let me go ahead and check on a couple of things here. But any final thoughts from you before we wrap things up here in a couple of moments? And of course, we've got Tech Tune-Up coming up here shortly as well.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, the last thing I'll mention is sort of how we're looking at NASDAQ and ES on the daily right now. You see how choppy and inconsistent the ES has been. Every time we try to break a previous day high, we fail. Previous day low, we fail. So it's been very inconsistent. The NASDAQ has been a lot stronger. So because of this, I would be looking for NASDAQ long positions instead of ES long positions, right? So just like divergence, I see the market flow. I see the market right here. Look at these big green candles versus these little wick candles. A lot more momentum here. And again, also using the VIX as well.
Awesome. Appreciate that, man. Great insights. And, you know, it's always, tell the folks where they can find you. I know, let me get your Twitch chat here.
Yeah. So you can check me out.
Yep.
You can check us out. Check me out on Twitch is Kevin Futures. Check me out on Instagram, Kevin.Futures. YouTube is Bullish Bears. I make most of the Bullish Bears YouTube content. We go live on Bullish Bears YouTube Monday and Friday. I like to live trade these futures that I'm going over right now during those live streams, along with any Q&A. And I also do like to watch equities as well for anybody who likes to watch and trade equities.
Nice. Is there anything you're eyeing for like earnings season at all?
Not at the moment. I'm not a big trader when it comes to like trading earnings and stuff. I really liked how Tesla moved. I'll probably be watching Tesla the next time it has earnings for another move similar to this one, because sort of like we saw with NVIDIA gave us a few earnings in a row where it consistently gave us a gap up, a gap up, a gap up. Well, maybe now it's time for Tesla to sort of take a swing at things, right? Tesla's been very bearish for a while, and now it's finally trying to print back higher.
Yeah, man, it's been, and SMCI is another one while we wait for Tech Tune-Up to get ready to go. Let me go ahead and, if you take a look at SMCI, so they had news that they're accounting EY, whatever, quit. I don't know the exact news, but it wasn't good. You can see the market go ahead and take care of action. Looks like they've got Tech Tune-Up ready to go, my man. Kevin, I appreciate you, brother, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Have a great day. Take care, everybody. Be good, be well.
See ya.
Happy trading. Thanks for having me.
See you, boss. All right, chat. Here's what's going to go ahead and happen. I'm going to send you guys to Tech Tune-Up. You don't need to go anywhere. This stream is going to end. It'll redirect you to my man, Paul. If you love the insights that we talk about technical analysis here, you will love what Paul has to say. Check him out.